It is Friday night, and it is time to ask us anything, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome, welcome, welcome. As always, to my right is the mighty Rambo Raff. Below me is the mighty Stuntman Marq. And we are here to kick ass and take names and also answer questions. So, that being said, feel free at any point in time to start jamming shit into the comment section box over here. That's one way to put that.
I have a question.
Oh shit. Okay.
What happened to your internet? Because you said you're telling the story. That apparently was a hell of a story.
Oh.
What happened?
Oh God, that's a hell of a way to start, Rambo. Yeah. So I was having a little bit of trouble with my internet, and by little bit, I mean like every so often it would just go out for about 2 or 3 minutes. And probably what it was some sort of like interference in the line where too many people were like using the line at one time or something like that, right? So it was enough to piss me off enough to get to the point where I called the service providers. So they come out and they replace the box, the router. And they're like, okay, like, you know, this should take care of it. We've had problems with these old or these newer boxes, so I'm giving you this older box that yada 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 is, you know, we don't ever have any problems with this or anything. And so that night, the first night that I had that box was when we did or tried to do that midweek obliteration show, and it was freezing up like a son of a bitch. And then started noticing that like we couldn't even get on the internet or anything like that. So as it turns out, the box that they set us up with didn't even have the capability to run the internet speed that I was paying for. So whatever the fuck I was getting was like half of what I was like paying for. And even with that being said, the box itself was fucking up like crazy because it was trying to run too much like into it that it wasn't capable of. So I called them back and I'm like, hey, you just fucked this up like 10 times worse than it was before when I called you guys. Like, can you send somebody out? And they're like, yeah, we'll send somebody out, but there's a ton of people, you know, that are in front of you. So we don't have an estimated time. So a week later, with no like, I about shot this motherfucker, by the way, no joke, because I live in a holler. In a holler is essentially, I don't know how you would exactly explain it, but it's like a poor area of the country, even poorer than like the regular part of the country. Okay, so like there's the city, the town, and then there's like a holler that's out in the middle of nowhere. And whenever my dog starts barking, if somebody comes, I live on a hill. If somebody comes up on a hill and the dog starts barking, like I immediately get a gun because there's a lot of people around here that do meth. That being said, the dude shows up, the dog starts barking. They don't give me any notice or anything. So I walked out on the porch with a gun. This poor cable guy is standing there.
Like Ethel.
Yeah, exactly. Who the fuck are you and what the fuck do you want? And the poor guy's standing there, and he just comes in and he's like, yada, yada, yada. You know, they gave you the wrong shit, and this one sucks. And like, you're not going to be able to do anything with this. And I'm like, no kidding. He's like, yeah. So they gave me the old original model that I had back. So they essentially didn't do anything. In 2 weeks' time, they didn't do not a fucking thing. They gave me the same exact box that I had originally. The only difference now is that I've got an Ethernet cable and I'm just using a fucking Ethernet cable to say fuck it. So when it does like drop out or whatever, maybe it won't drop out as much as it did.
They charge her an extra $20 for that?
I'm sure they did. I haven't checked it, but I'm positive they did. Yeah. Well, it says it was a 28K modem from 1998. All right. Speaking of which, real quick before we get started, let's acknowledge all these people that are in the chat. We've got a lot of people in here already. Tony is live from Chiller Theater. Jesus Christ. I saw that you got.
Oh, what's up?
I saw that you got Wes a Madman signed poster, and that's awesome. I'm just waiting to see what you get me, Tony. I know you got something planned for me. So I'm just waiting around. Wild Wranglers on here. It's good to have you. Kevin Wood, Mikey B, the Preminator, of course. Always good to see you.
Cool.
Lord Cosmo, Business of Fear, Brandon S, 1983 Magic, Rooster, Jonathan Songo, Steve Mayers, Future Boy 77. Good Lord. I don't even know who some of these people are. Vito ATF. Sounds right. Peter
Don Vito.
This is a great name. Peter Freakout. Peter Freakout. Ice Buoy. Shit. A lot of people are on here. And finally, Elise Bratsburg. Okay. So how do you guys want to do this? Because I got a couple different ideas. I mean, of course, we're going to be answering questions, but I've got some shit that I bought recently that I figured I would just like talk about. And then I've got a stack of shit that I watched recently that I figured that we could talk about if any of you guys have seen this shit or because like I'm not a blue tuber. I actually watch this shit. So I have a stack of shit that has been watched as well as a stack of shit that has been bought. I defy some of these other assholes to have a stack of shit that they've watched.
You Maniac will review it and the package hasn't been opened.
Yeah, that happens all the time. Then it'll end up on eBay about 2 days later. I can guarantee it. Thank you very much, Jesse. He says that we're the two of the raddest fucking dudes alive. I appreciate that.
I guess I'm not, but
no, you ain't worth the fuck, Marq. Oh God! All right, so let's go. Let's go.
He's the most important guy. He's our stuntman. Whenever we need to do horrible, like dangerous shit, Stuntman comes in.
That's
with
right.
the green screen to help us out. So he's the backup man.
There's already like a shit ton of questions in here, so I'm gonna go ahead and just start like going down the line here. Let's see where we can start. So this is a good place to start. I'm going to start with this one. What is the best way to donate? Rooster says. I'm not. If you mean to donate to us, I'm sure that. Okay, so me and Matt, Dead Pit and Matt have Patreon. So if you want to join those, that's probably the best way to do that. I don't know about Marq. Do you have a Patreon, Marq?
No. I mean, I'll put up a cash app if
write him
he
a
wants
check.
to give me some money.
Yeah, send him a check. He'll give you. Or you could just do a super chat or something like that, and I'll make sure that Wes makes him split it 3 ways. Hell, he won't even give me anything.
There is if you do a super chat, underneath where you type below it, there's a $sign. There's a money with a $sign. You click on that to send a super chat, if that's what you're wondering, Rooster. Right by where you type into the chat, right below it.
All right. So this is a good question to kind of seriously start on, though. I bet Marq has got something amazing here. What is your most precious possession in your collection? Future Boy 77 asks.
That's such an open-ended question. Is that like physical media or props or just
He didn't
memorabilia,
specify. He
poster?
just said in your whole collection, what's the one thing that like you treasure the most, I guess.
Only one thing?
That's what he said.
Yeah.
I mean, it
really
don't
good.
matter. You can name whatever you want.
I don't. I'll name two things.
I'm trying to think.
First off, this was a gift.
Oh,
and
cool.
apparently this was used in the movie, and it is signed by Larry Clark. This was a nice gift.
Ooh, nice.
Guy named Corey. So I thought, being a fan of the movie, and probably one of those that was in the store and stuff, that was pretty cool. So I always think nice piece of history. And Larry Cohen. I don't know why I said Larry Clark. Larry Cohen.
Yeah.
Larry Cohen was always a talented guy. Always enjoyed his stuff. Never got what he deserved in terms of like a big studio film, but I enjoyed a lot of his movies.
No, he never got the
And the
recognition.
second one, this is I don't know how he got this, but since this guy knows I'm such a fan of this movie, this is definitely one of, and that is Danny Glover in Predator 2 with the big old gun, because this is never anywhere to be found. This had to have been, I would assume, he homemade or something, not homemade, or like he had someone do this, because this is like nowhere to be found. It's like one of a kind. And for those who don't know, this is Danny Glover in Predator 2, which is a personal favorite of mine. And like he's got the clothes right, and it does quite look like Danny Glover. It's not, and he's even got the little gun from the movie as a holster. So I think this is just a really wonderful, sincere gift, and I don't know how he did it, but this was a very sincere, generous gift from the heart, and that's why I always have him right here. So I mean, I thought that was pretty crazy when that happened. So
I'm not gonna lie, for like 2 seconds, I thought that was the doll from Tales from the Hood.
It does look like that too. Yeah. What do you got, Mark? I know you have to have something in your mind.
I mean, any one of my limited edition sets. I have so many. Maybe the Maniac one, or like maybe the Hellraiser one. I mean, I've got so many, and I don't have any offhand right here. I'd have to go get them, but that's going to take forever. But yeah, probably one of my physical media sets, more than likely. I only have a handful of like actual props. And prop wise, I guess off the top of my head, one of my custom made Freddy Krueger gloves, maybe one of those.
Got custom made Freddy Krueger gloves. Jesus Christ, Mark. That one is easy for me. It's the Night of the Living Dead 90 crew jacket that I have. I've got it over here, but I have no idea how I would like put it on camera or anything. But that's my favorite thing. I bought it off a guy named Eric Kent, who he runs, or is partially a person that runs the Garf Foundation, George A. Romero Foundation, and he sold that to me like probably 15 years ago, and it's always been my favorite.
Nice.
Okay.
Yeah, that's really priceless. That's awesome.
Yeah. And that's like one of my favorite movies. I saw it with my dad when I was 10 in the theater, and nobody else was in that fucking theater, by the way. It was me and him. That movie did not do well in the theater.
That's right. I
remember
remember
that don't remember that. Yeah. All right. So Jonathan wants to know, what's our thoughts on Cocaine Bear? For those of us who've seen it. I haven't seen it. Like I said, I tried to watch it, got a little bit of way through it, and then I just didn't watch the rest of it. I will.
Go ahead, Stuntman. You're ready to say something.
It's just okay. I mean, I thought they could have went a lot further with it. But
the
I'll probably never watch it again. I'll say that.
Elizabeth Banks don't know shit about directing. Yeah, she did the Charles Angels reboot. She's that much of a director. Okay. You needed someone else that knew to deal with humor or gore or the premise. It's about Cocaine Bear, and the bear's barely in the movie.
Right.
I mean, there's some cutaway shots to the death scenes. It's more about these two people looking for drugs and their whole scheme, or a mom looking for her kid, and the kids are little asses. And then you're supposed to care for the bear because he's got some kids of his own, and the bear gets away because, hey, it's okay if you're on cocaine, you kill a couple people. It wasn't your fault, And you don't even like.
I mean, cocaine's a hell
And
of a
then Ray
drug.
Liotta, it was there. It could have been a lot better if they went a lot more crazier with it. And it was more of a marketing gimmick than a satisfying movie.
Yep.
At least
Very
in my
I
well
opinion.
remember the part that I watched, like I probably stopped right around the time when Ray Liotta got it, like came into the movie. But God Almighty, man, he looked like an old leather handbag or something. Like, what in the hell happened to him there towards the end? There's a lot of plastic surgery or something.
Yeah. How old was he?
He
At
couldn't have
least
been
at
like
that time.
60s, maybe mid 60s, I would think.
Okay.
Look it up.
Seems like he
Okay,
should be older, but
let's get these super chats real quick because I just noticed these.
67.
okay. That sounds about right.
Mary Widow, who's always been generous on here with us, and Rambo says,
Absolutely.
no joke, the modem fiasco happened to me a few years back. Same thing. I was like, what the fuck? Yeah. Yeah, thank you.
If you're wondering about the lights flickering, I have a storm around here, so
Uh-oh.
if I lose power, it'll be funny. But that's why I have the phone, so that'll be hilarious just to be in the dark. So
cool. At least you got the backup.
Yep, that's what I do on the phone. It'll just be funny. The lights go down, be like, what happened? I don't know. Maybe it's the people from Uncle Bill's bottom. They heard they want revenge on the rest of us. So now they can't do my phone, so they had to get my power. So steal my power. And they'll steal Stuntman's shit.
Bronson on Super Chat here wants to know, what's your favorite Tom Hanks movie? That's a good question. That's one.
The Burbs. Easy answer for me.
That's a hell of an answer, yeah.
Mine as well.
God, man. I'll be honest with you. The one that I always go back to is Bachelor Party. Like, I love that movie.
Oh, okay.
And I mean, he's done some fucking amazing dramatic stuff, Saving Private Ryan and all that and yada yada. But that movie I just watched a ton when I was a kid, so it's always got like a nostalgic spot. And I've been watching a lot of those movies like that lately. Those kind of mid '80s,
feel good mid '80s stuff,
raunchy fucking feel good comedies and ski movies, and I don't know what the hell what's going on here lately, but I bought a bunch of stuff from King. That's probably why. Has anyone ever seen? Thank you both for the super chats, by the way. Has anyone ever seen Runaway Twain with John Voight and Eric Roberts? I have not.
No, I've heard of it though.
Long time ago, but I would have to watch it again to get a better opinion on it.
All right, so no Runaway Twain. What are your thoughts on the black phone? Jonathan wants to know. Not just the regular black phone, but the movie, of course.
I enjoyed it. It's unfortunate that they're doing a sequel.
It is, you're right.
Yeah, they just announced that, I think, at CinemaCon. Not to go off too far on a tangent, but have you guys seen the new Exorcist stuff that's come out of there?
No, I haven't watched. I've seen that there's been trailers and shit or like scenes come out. I haven't watched any of it. I just can't right now.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, I think we all know what to expect with David Gordon Green. There's quite a few people praising it, but so basically you have a father and his daughter is possessed and her friend gets possessed as well. And she has the name Reagan across her stomach. That's how you get the tie into Ellen Burstyn. And it's just so unnecessary. is so unnecessary. That's
Are you kidding? Unnecessary. That sounds like a damn masterpiece. They're going to call it a masterpiece. I guarantee
Oh,
at least 10 different people call it a masterpiece before it's like over with.
we get the official trailer and they're gonna have the fucking 95% from Rotten Tomatoes in the trailer, just like Evil
Yep.
Dead Rise. So
95. What the hell? That doesn't even mean anything anymore. Black Phone though, as a movie, I really liked that movie. I thought the ending I didn't like because it seemed like they just went like Home Alone at the end, and then like. But I mean, I enjoyed everything up to that last section. I'll put it that way. But I don't think horror, and this has been something I've said a million times. I don't think people who do horror films anymore know how to end the fucking movies. Like, when is the last time you saw a horror film that had like a really, really good ending where it was thought out and it somehow or another tied into the actual movie? And it wasn't just like Evil Dead Rise is a perfect example of that. Like, the ending of that movie probably took somebody 5 minutes to come up with. It's like, what are we going to do at the end of this movie? Well, we're going to fucking, spoiler alert, we're going to fucking dump it in a wood chipper. And that's it.
The
Okay.
plot holes in that movie are ridiculously huge. It's insane. I want to talk about it, but I know a lot of people probably haven't seen it, so I don't want to spoil it.
I'll spoil it for you. I'll spoil it all for you. Well, what do you think? The fucking like creature wins or some shit? No. So you know something's gonna happen. It's just
I'm curious what these plot holes are that Stuntman saying. What plot holes? That's my question. There you go. Ask us. I'll ask Mark. What plot holes?
So I'll just mention two, just to save a little time, so we don't spend too much time on Evil Dead Rise. And Uncle Bill, back me up here if I'm wrong. Okay. So they can't get down off the floor that they're on because the elevator is fucked.
The elevator's haunted. It's not fucked. It's possessed by demons.
Okay. And the stairwell is gone, right?
Right. It's like same shit as with the bridge in Evil Dead. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. So at the end of the movie, they can't get out still, but then all of a sudden they can. The elevator just works. I'm like, okay, whatever. I'm willing to let that go. The fact that the lady that has nothing to do with anything else that's going on is on another floor, and she's on the 5th floor because they show it. She goes to the elevator first. The elevator doesn't work. What does she do? Take the stairs. But the stairs were gone.
That's right. But they magically reappeared because that's what demons are.
But come on, dude.
The demons, it's just demons. They're fickle. They wanted her to get out. That way, I'm not sure. I'm not sure where that was going. I don't know. I don't know why.
Has anybody in the chat seen Evil Dead Rise? I'm just curious. Like, thumbs up, thumbs down if you hate it or love it. I have to know.
Let's see. I'm just making I'm just starring questions right now so I can keep up with them. This is basically all I'm doing. So there's like a ton of shit on here. In terms of plot holes in that movie, like my biggest problem with the movie was not necessarily the plot, which is just stupid, but it is what it is. Like, I mean, there's never been a great lot of plot in Evil Dead anyway. Matt is about to be struck dead by lightning. Matt, it's been good to know you, but you're about to be killed by a storm, I feel.
Yeah, at least I got this. I could die with it.
But my biggest issue with it was the dialogue was just some of like, not only was it written poorly, but it was like, oh God, oh Jesus, Matt is doomed.
I just turn it off that way. The flickering doesn't give people annoyances, so this way it just looks better. Because if it keeps flickering, really that could be annoying. Nah, this way it doesn't annoy people while watching. So, plus it's horror. Come on, it fits with the tone. But go ahead.
Very true. But it was like the stuff that they wanted to be scary, I just laughed my ass off at or cringed at. Like anything those characters said where they were like tweaking their voices and shit, and it was supposed to be like super scary. Like I was just shaking my head the entire time.
Yeah, same here. Or how about the fact that like the translation of the book is on vinyl? What if the person that found it didn't have a turntable? We wouldn't really have a movie now, would we?
But every hipster has a turntable, Mark. We know
Do they?
this. Yeah. Hell, I've even got a fucking turntable in there. Two turntables and a microphone. That's a reference for you. Okay. So many questions on here. Okay, I've got them all started, so I think I'm ready. What is a movie that is a guilty pleasure to y'all that everybody else hates? Wild Wrangler writes in.
I'll let one of you guys go. I need a minute to think about that.
That everybody else hate. Oh, I think I know this. And I have no shame in this. I don't know if people hate this necessarily, but it's definitely not a movie. There's two I can think of. They're definitely not movies that like people would think about when they think about like Dead Pit or anything. So, Halloween Town and Teen Witch. I like both those fucking movies.
Mm-hmm.
I have since I was a kid. And The Worst Witch. That's another one too that I've liked since I was a kid. So those are my guilty pleasure movies. By the way, side note, The Worst Witch is that bitch copied that for Harry Potter. There is no doubt in my mind. You go back, I'm telling you right now, I implore anybody listening to this, go back and watch the original Worst Witch with Fairuza Balk and tell me that J.K. Rowling did not copy that to make Harry Potter. She saw that movie growing up. I know she did. And that's where she got the inspiration for Harry Potter. I'm just saying. Anyway, go ahead.
I mean, I don't really feel guilty about liking any of these, but I'll just say the easy one: Jason Goes to Hell, the Final Friday. That's just brought up a lot. So
I actually like that movie too.
Yeah, I always enjoyed it, but it helps that was my first introduction to this franchise, among other reasons I liked it. But I'll go with that one. I know that's probably the most hated Friday the 13th film nowadays, but I always enjoyed it.
That one and Part 8, but I like Part 8, so I guess that'd be mine. That's one of mine.
Okay. Almost forgot that Dr. Giggles.
Oh,
that's a film that everybody like. People have a really like polarized opinion on that movie. They either hate it or like absolutely love it, and I'm in the absolutely love it category. Thoughts on Dr. Sleep? I really like that movie. I'll be honest with you. Like, I really enjoyed it. I really enjoyed, I can't remember her name, the young actress that was in it that also had the power or whatever. I thought she was great in it. I thought Ewan, however you pronounce his name, Ewan McGregor was great in it. Didn't like, again, once again, the ending, I could have done without some of that stuff, but all in all, I was amazingly surprised about how good that movie was.
Yeah, same here. It was a nice surprise for a change. I had no hope going in. I mean, I hadn't read the book or anything, but yeah, I really enjoyed the director's cut a lot. I don't know if it needed to be 3 hours, but or was it 3.5? It was ridiculously long. I do know that, but still a good watch though. I appreciate the effort behind that for sure.
And I imagine, I do too.
Rambo's gone. What happened?
Yeah, Rambo. I imagine Rambo's getting a small dog and going down into a cellar right now. So the house is about to be blown off and
going into
Oz.
his panic room.
yeah. All right, I saw this earlier, Mike B, and I'm wondering if Stuntman saw it too. Did you see the Rob Zombie Presents horror vinyls with waxwork? White Zombie vinyl looks cool, and apparently he's doing like other vinyls with them. Did you see that?
I did not.
So, yeah, I mean, it's an interesting kind of, well, I don't know if you call that a crossover, but that they've got him kind of like picking some of these now.
Mhm.
And I don't know how much input he has into them other than maybe picking what they're doing, but I think it's a cool idea. I mean, he's definitely got better taste in like culture and pop culture than he does in, you know, writing or directing. I'll say that.
Are you a White Zombie fan? I didn't even know.
I love the first two albums, man.
Okay,
Like I
cool.
always have. Like that to me was the height of when metal and horror films, like in terms of that kind of metal, that industrial metal or whatever, and they
Mhm.
were using clips from all the movies that I knew what the movies were, and that
Mhm.
was awesome to have that in there. They were sampling all those clips, which I never could figure out how he did, unless he just didn't pay these people because he in every
Mhm.
one of those songs, those first two albums, there's a random like sampled clip from a movie, which I
Mhm.
don't get if he paid royalties for that or just I don't know,
I don't know
but
either.
it seems like a lot of sampled stuff in his songs.
Oh yeah.
But I did like those first two albums. I can't stand the Rob Zombie stuff though. The stuff when he got away from White Zombie,
Uh-huh.
no, I'm not doing that.
That I'll say I like Hellbilly Deluxe, the first one. There are some songs on there that I could listen to, but once you start getting a little further down the line, I'm good. That's where I draw the line on Rob Zombie.
Yeah, I'm not even sure what his stuff is nowadays. Is everything all right, Rambo? Are you going to be okay? Heck, I'm worried.
No, it's just one of those storms. It'll be a heavy thunderstorm for a few hours, and it just that's how it is in the middle of nowhere. I'm sure that happens to you guys all the time out there in Kentucky.
It does.
There'll be storms. It's like you feel like it's going to blow everything away, but it's just a normal day. So it's like
All right. Any thoughts on Rabid, the Cronenberg movie? I'm assuming is the one. There's two Rabids. Unfortunately, there was a remake that was awful.
Mhm.
have to rewatch it. It's been a while since I've seen it. The early Cronenberg film. I never saw the remake. Never cared to. Sure, I'm not missing
Yeah,
much.
the ending always stands out to me the most. I do enjoy it. Probably not my favorite Cronenberg movie, but I do enjoy it a lot.
I actually met Marilyn Chambers in 2005 and talked to her about that movie. And it was a
Mhm.
funny conversation because we were on an elevator and I was asking her about David Cronenberg. And she was like, oh, he was like a really shy guy. He barely said anything. Like everybody had to kind of like, you had to approach him and talk to him or he wouldn't really like say anything. And there was another dude on the elevator and he was like, you talking about somebody you were in a movie with? He thought that she was talking about like a porn that she was in with this guy. And I was like, dude, no, it's not that kind of movie. But I'm pretty sure he was drunk. But I love that movie. I love all of his early stuff. It just has a weird Canadian look to it that's very like, I don't know, that era of that era. So you got like The Brood and you got Rabbit and Shivers and all those movies have that look up until you get to The Fly probably, and then it kind of like
Mhm.
gets more mainstream kind of stuff going on.
That was the most money he had up until that point, right? Was The Fly?
I've got to imagine, yeah.
Okay.
I mean, that was more of a big studio movie with actual stars. Like all those movies we just talked about didn't really have any maybe Oliver Reed, but he was like an
Mhm.
alcoholic, crazy person by the time he did, The Brood.
Mhm. And then Videodrome, I guess, James Woods wasn't James Woods yet, but
Yeah,
on his
yeah.
way. Yeah.
They got Deborah Harry though, which I guess Deborah Harry was more kind of famous than James Woods was at that time, just for the musical part of it.
Mhm.
Videodrome might be my favorite Cronenberg movie. I don't know. I go back and forth with it. Like it's an insane movie that's like kind of the textbook definition of body horror
Mhm.
films. I can't say enough good things about that movie. Thoughts on Knock at the Cabin? For anybody
Didn't
that's
watch
seen
it yet.
I thought it was better than I thought it would be because it's M. Night Shyamalan, and I'm pretty adamant that he's a pretty piss poor writer and director for most of his career. What made it work was I never read the source material. Dave Bautista was really good, and I have to say that otherwise, M. Night Shyamalan set The Happening win to apparently make me say this before blows his whole fucking place away. But yeah, Dave Bautista really surprised me. He's a pretty damn good actor. I've enjoyed him quite a few films, and I thought he knocked out of the park. And yeah, it was better than I thought it would be. Like I said, compared to a lot of the other stuff like Last Airbender, The Village, Old.
Mhm.
But it also helps that he didn't write it by himself. He had other people do it. So that maybe that's what he should do more of.
You haven't
Yeah,
seen it, Mark?
no, and it wasn't his material to begin with. So yeah, that definitely helps.
So like I liked it and didn't like it at the same time, and I'll tell you why. I liked it because it was incredibly well acted, especially like Deacon Dave. Like I couldn't believe how well that he did in that movie. I was not expecting that. I didn't like it because it was too spot on, man. And when you see it, you kind of know what I mean. Like I don't know if maybe at this point we've gotten to a point where you hear M. Night Shyamalan and you expect there to be a twist to the movie where it just
Mhm.
something all comes back around and like, but it was too just on the nose for me, if that makes any sense without giving anything away.
Yeah, that became his signature for a while there.
Yeah.
And then it got stale once the twist was started to become
Yeah.
not good. So
And I was kind of like, you're kind of like watching it and you're like, is something else going to happen? And nothing else ever happens. And you're just kind of like, okay,
Mm.
well, still a good movie, but it's just not, I don't know. This is one we've never been asked that I actually think would be cool. What's your favorite Jim Carrey movie? If you have a favorite Jim Carrey movie.
probably The Mask for me. I'm not sure how many people out there are familiar with the actual comic, but it's spot on in terms of like the comedy element. Well, first of all, it takes a lot for that character to be portrayed the right way, and you have to have an actor that's willing to go there. And I don't think anybody else but Jim Carrey could go there. Um, the violence, on the other hand, I wish was there in the movie, but overall, it still works in spite of it not being as violent as the comic, I will say.
I would go with probably the first big one, Ace Ventura: Pet Detective. That's just the one that I could rewatch anytime and laugh quite a bit about. And with, I should say, I always get enjoyment out of that film. That was my first introduction to him. Uh, for me, that's the funniest one he's done. And it's just a weird, silly idea, but I think he really went for broke because he knew it was, if he didn't leave it all on the table, who knows if he'd ever get another shot and a lead in a movie. I mean, by that point, he was in what, Once Bitten and a few
Yeah.
other films.
Which I
So
love that movie, by the way.
Yeah.
But it's not necessarily going to like blow anybody's skirt up or anything. I'm going to go out then on a limb because I probably would have said Ace Ventura 2. Either Ace Ventura movie actually, because I like them both pretty much equally. But I think, and I recently rewatched this movie about a month ago. It's probably The Truman Show for me. Like that is an excellent movie in general that was kind of like prophetic in a lot of ways about like what was going to happen with reality TV and all that stuff. And he does a great job in that role too. And it's like one of the first dramatic roles that they let him do, unless you consider The Cable Guy to be a
Yeah.
dramatic role. but
The cable guy.
I don't know.
I like that movie.
I do too, but it's like what an odd choice. Like
Very odd.
I'm sure they gave him a million choices of like, first of all, any movie he wanted to be in at that point, but second of all, like how he wanted to play that role, and what an odd decision he made of how to play that role too, with the lisp and all that. Yeah.
That seems like it was a lot of that was him and Ben Stiller, like just bouncing ideas off each other the whole time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So Manic Exorcism wants to know, guys, what's your favorite song to fuck to? I had to throw it in there.
Oh
God. Banjo music.
I don't usually use music for that, but I mean, I don't know.
The Rocky theme.
Eye of the
one?
Tiger.
Like Eye of the Tiger, or just the actual Rocky theme? That would get you pumped up and be like, all right.
In more ways than one.
Yeah, exactly. All right. Bronson Wright wants to know, what is your favorite? This is actually a super chat. What is your favorite Steve Martin movie?
For me, I'll say Planes, Trains, and Automobiles.
Yeah, it's a good one. I would not have thought of that one, Ralph.
Either that or The Jerk.
I would say The Jerk. Yeah.
That scene when he says the F word so many times, like, which is the only reason that film's rated R, is still, I could bust a gut laughing throughout the whole scene with the timing of it, because that's what Rob Zombie needs to learn. Like, that scene has a lot of cussing, but it's timing and it's the way it's used, and the fact it's not used all before and after. It's only for that one scene, and there's a reason for it. And you just built up how Steve Martin's so mad and angry about what's going on. It's like, I want the fucking car right fucking now. It's the way he says it.
Yeah.
And then
you say that you're gonna have Rob Zombie remake it. And
God.
Basically.
Who would he cast? Fucking
Bill Moseley.
Bill Moseley would be Steve Martin, yeah.
Oh my God.
There's another movie too. There's several that he did that I thought was really good, but there was one that nobody ever talks about anymore. Do you remember a movie called Leap of Faith, where he was like a televangelist? This was like the early 90s, I think, or the mid 90s, which I always thought
vaguely.
That was an underrated movie too, where he was like a real sleazy televangelist that I don't know exactly what it was, a comedy, but like a dark kind of comedy too. It was a weird movie for him.
Was he there a con artist as well?
Yeah, that was his whole gimmick. Yeah, he could like heal people, but he really wasn't healing them. Like he was just like had plants and stuff in the audience.
One I recommend for anyone who likes Steve Martin is L.A. Story. That's a pretty good one. L.A. Story.
That is good too. Any thoughts on Eastern Promises? The only thoughts I have on that is I watched it once or maybe twice, but I didn't like it as much as History of Violence.
Agreed.
I think it's photographed a lot better. The cinematography definitely wins over for me with it. I like History of Violence more, but something about the whole like tone of Eastern Promises I just really dig. I will say that's one movie that I did want the sequel to. I think Viggo Mortensen and Cronenberg just have a great dynamic of working together. That's sort of like his, I don't know, Scorsese to DiCaprio kind of thing. Like they just have a great rapport. Did you guys see Crimes of the Future? Or
which one was Crimes of the Future?
You hated it?
It's a new one. It's I think wasn't that the newest Cronenberg film?
That was the newest one, yeah.
I haven't seen that yet. No.
It's like him trying to do his body horror, but I don't know, the story and his, I don't know. I don't think he knew what he wanted to be, in my opinion. And it's been a while since I've seen it, but I thought, what is this bullshit? Like, that's just my opinion.
I keep getting his stuff and Brandon Cronenberg stuff mixed up nowadays because they're basically making the same
Well,
types
yeah.
of movies.
That's true. Yeah.
It's like, I actually like Brandon Cronenberg a lot though, but I haven't seen like the new David Cronenberg movie. I've seen both of Brandon's like newer movies,
Mhm.
Infinity Pool and what was the one before that with the assassin?
Possessor.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, let's see. This thing is so far behind that it's like trying to load. Give me a second.
That's okay. The internet went on the computer, so I can't even look at the chat.
Oh, Jesus.
Oh shit.
This question just came out of nowhere. It's great. Super chat. You- okay. Well, thanks for the super chat, Chris.
I think he's
Yeah.
innocent.
Yeah, I'm pretty positive he probably at least diddled one child. I'm thinking. He diddled a kid. But in his defense, I'm not even sure that he realized he was an adult. I'm not positive that he saw things in the same way as we see things,
Mhm.
if that's a defense.
I don't think he did. I'd rather there always be evidence, and hey, if I'm wrong, I'm wrong. Oh well,
Mm-hmm.
then I'm just wrong. Not the first or last time I've been wrong. There's a lot of things, though, not to get too much into it, because YouTube won't like it. There's a lot of questions that get raised when people have said stuff like, okay, one person said this happened, but then he was never there. He was across the country at the same time in a completely different city. Or this happened, but it's a station that wasn't built until like a year or two after the person said it. Or a parent said, I cheered when he died, but then you didn't know what happened till like 2-3 years after he died. So there's a lot of these conflicting reports they tell the police, and I'm like, I would think it would be more consistent. That's just me. I think, yes, I like his music, but that's not the reason I say that. I think he was a guy, like you said, because the way he grew up, he thought he was a kid and he was 1% naive and he didn't understand like adults should understand. Case in point, when he had the baby with Lisa Marie and showed it to the crowd, and we're thinking, what are you doing? It's so high, but he doesn't see in that reality, just so naive. And I think, could I be proven wrong? 100%. But until I am, I think he was just a naive guy that, because he was weird, he acted weird, he had these weird eccentric stuff, it was very easy to take advantage. And a lot of people found a way to do it and get some easy money out of it. Okay, last thing I'll say about it, the one of the guys who was so adamant about it, but then he was going out with Michael Jackson's niece for years and years afterward, and then wanted to get married on the guy's Neverland with the niece. He wanted to get married. I'm thinking, if all this really happened, but then you worked wanting to praise him, and then you told police it didn't happen, and then you went out with the niece for like 5-6 years onward, and then you wanted to get married, like you want to get married there. I just think that's a bit confusing, but that's just me.
Yeah, it doesn't quite add up.
I'm just gonna go back and say that he probably did a little kid. Sorry. All right.
Sorry about it. What are you sorry about? It's like, no, I'm gonna lie. Foot ramble, foot marker.
That's the thing about it, though, man. Nowadays, who the fuck knows? I mean, he's been dead for 10 years now. Like, they're never gonna know what exactly happened with any of that.
Exactly.
It's like OJ. I mean, we don't know what happened there. He didn't kill his wife and a waiter.
He did admit it.
But
I
if he
think I already
did,
told this story.
if he did, he wrote a book about it. That said, if he did.
Well, there's an interview that I saw that he did that wasn't aired for years until a few years ago, where then he says, "I don't know." Well, he goes into this like 30-minute hypothesis of, well, if I was there,
Yeah.
then maybe I was with this guy named Charlie, which some say might have been his son or he just made it up. And maybe this happened, and maybe I saw this, and maybe she crawled over here, and then maybe she did. I'm like, he's describing it in detail, but and then he forgets that he's in an interview. He's like, I did this, I did that. Like, what the? It's the weirdest interview. I forget what it's called. O.D. Simpson.
I
I forget
remember
what it is.
seeing,
It's the,
isn't that the same one too, Matt, where he like at the end of it surprises the reporter with like a fake knife or something, acts like he's gonna stab her. Have you seen that? Where he like
I
I've
didn't see
never
that
seen
part.
that.
it's like a joke, but he like jumps out at her and he's like, you know, doing the psycho thing. And she's like, what
Oh my
the fuck?
I, what the,
Look that up though. Anybody
Yeah, I
want
gotta
it
see
out
that.
there? Like, there's an interview
okay,
where he's like messing with this reporter who's a female, and he's like, he jumps out from behind a door at her and kind of like does the psycho thing with a knife, and she's like, and then she's doing like a narration about it later on in that episode where she's like, OJ thought this would be funny, but I was really not like pleased with it. It's like, yeah, no shit.
the one I was thinking of is called O.J. Simpson: The Lost Confession. It is on
Okay.
YouTube for those who want to see and be just confused. The Lost Confession.
All right. So here's what I'm gonna do. There's so many questions that we're so far behind. I'm going down to the bottom and working my way up. That's the only way
Okay.
that I can keep up with like and
Working
maybe
my way
make it like
uptown.
yeah.
Exactly.
Hey to OCP and Retro Crypt and a lot of new people that have just come in here. Another
Yo,
super
what's up?
chat from Bronson who wants to know, what is your favorite Jackie Chan movie? Jackie Chan.
Mm.
That's really tough.
Nostalgia for me. The first two I saw was Rumble in the Bronx and Operation Condor. So I always go back to those. Even though it's weird because Rumble in the Bronx is supposed to take place in New York, but if you watch, there's a bunch of mountains in the background because they shot it in Canada. So, but
Yeah,
it goes back to those two.
I was gonna say Rumble in the Bronx or Super Cop.
That's a good one.
God, dude.
Have you watched a lot of Jackie Chan stuff? I know you don't like Jet Li.
Which one of us? Me?
You.
Yeah, you.
Or is that West that don't like Jet Li?
It's probably Wes. I mean,
Okay.
I'm not a huge Jet Li fan either, to be honest with you. But like, I don't have like that big of a issue with him. I have probably seen 4 or 5 Jackie Chan movies, and I've seen Rumble in the Bronx, which is good. I've seen one of the police stories. I can't remember which one, and thought it was crazy. And I just watched that because of the stunts. Everybody always talks about the stunts in those movies, so I was kind of watching it for that.
Yeah.
I've seen the Rush Hour movies. I've seen that horrible fucking movie he did with Owen Wilson, Samurai something.
Oh,
Shanghai Noon.
Shanghai Noon.
Nights.
Yeah.
There's
So
two of them.
I'm not positive if I have one, if I'm being honest. Dylan Pearl wants to know, do you think Rampage from William Freaking will ever come out on Blu-ray? I know Kino was working with him, but I don't know. Dylan, that's a good question. So I know a guy who knows a guy that actually knows somebody in Kino, and from what I was told, the only movie that they're continuing to work on is To Live and Die in LA. They had a deal with him to do several of other of his movies through Kino, but he was such a hard ass to work with about the transfers and everything that they basically were just like, no, like we're going to try to finish this one. And then after that, like we're completely done. which is a fucking shame because like a lot of those movies are awesome and they'll probably
Oh
never
yeah.
get any kind of decent release. But my like fingers crossed that To Live and Die in LA actually comes out through Kino because it's a hard one to find right
Mhm.
now. Like I've got the Arrow Region B version of it, but I mean, in terms of like, I want the Shout Select one, but it's like $100. It's been out of print forever. Yeah, so there's that. Favorite supernatural giallo? No Argento. That's fucking super specific there, Dirk.
Yeah.
No Argento, but it has to be a giallo that's supernatural.
Supernatural.
God damn, that's
I'm trying to think of giallo movies that aren't Argento now. I'm bad at giallo stuff.
I'm not
And
sure
then
if
the
this
ones I
one
find are not
counts.
supernatural.
go for it.
Oh, okay. Bava's Delirium. Does that
I
count?
like it.
I mean,
I think that would count.
I don't know if that's specifically supernatural though, because I can't remember if that's like just what the killer sees or if that's what the person that he's killing sees. It's like he's like disfigured or like his head is like a giant or their head is a giant eyeball or something like that. It's always a different thing, so I can't remember if that would be considered supernatural. That's my best guess so far.
The only thing I can think of is the psychic. Fulci's the psychic. That's the only thing that comes to mind. Would that be
Okay.
considered like supernatural giallo? I mean, she's psychic. Kind of.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah.
I'm struggling. Like I'm thinking about like Martino but those guys didn't do like supernatural giallos. Like they did straight up fucking like. I'm trying to think like who else would have done.
I don't know. I mean,
Yeah.
if Delirium doesn't count, I'll just say The Church as well. But that's not a giallo, so I don't know.
That's a tough question, Dirk.
Yeah, that's a very specific question.
We'll come back to that.
You know what? I'm going to cheat. It's not supernatural. If it's not Argento, I just want to throw this movie out. All American Murder, just because to me that's like an American giallo, and you got Christopher Walken being crazy, and just hey, this wife of yours, she's pretty sexy, and she was on my dick last night. It was just get a criminal pissed off. I just want to throw that movie out there since Vigor Center released it, so that's an interesting film. Stars the guy from Police Academy 7, Mission to Moscow, I think.
Jesus.
Charlie Schlater? And this is Schlater, yeah.
Mission to Moscow. I haven't heard that one in a while. That's something I want to do. I know people think I'm crazy. I want to do a whole series of Police Academy breakdowns, every film. Because nobody is ever doing that.
It's like 5 of them, right?
I'm ready for It's
7.
7, yeah.
7? Shit.
7, and there's a cartoon and there's a TV series.
I'm not doing the cartoon.
TV series. I didn't even remember the cartoon.
I'm not doing the cartoon.
But there's 7 movies and a TV series, yeah.
Wow. Jack Frost wants to know, have we ever visited any other countries? If so, which ones? If not, which ones do you want to go to?
The Ukraine.
Japan and Australia.
Have you ever visited any countries, Mark?
No, I was just joking about the Ukraine, and no, I haven't.
I feel like that probably wouldn't be the one to go to right now.
No, that's probably not a good joke. That's too soon.
We need some stump people over there.
I've never been to another country, sadly.
Where would you go if you had to pick one?
That's easy. Like I would go to like one of the like European countries, like Ireland, Scotland, something like that. That would be where I would want to go.
Go to Italy.
Cool.
Italy would be good. Yep.
Very cool.
Favorite movie ever made and most hated movie. that changes, by the way, from time to time. Right now, my most hated movie is Evil Dead Rise, and my favorite movie is still hanging on to Sorcerer right now. So
Nice. Favorite movie. Well, for me, I gotta say Hard Target is just my kind of movie. And hated, I gotta go with Alien 3. I just gotta go with Alien 3.
y'all gonna go with Alien Resurrection? Y'all just watch that shit. You know it ain't good.
Technically, the worst films I've seen is probably no one's ever heard of these Feeders and Feeders 2. These shot
I know what they
on-
are.
Yeah.
Horrible.
For those who've never seen them, there's literally a scene where it's supposed to be aliens or puppets kill a cat. But the way they show it is they took a magazine and they cut out pictures of a cat and they put it there and then they colored around it and they just put it on screen and that was the dead cat. It just like little pictures.
That's how you do it.
But
Right
I'll
there.
say Alien 3 because me and Alien 3 go way back. I destroyed a VHS tape on camera because I was pissed on Alien 3.
Now, I'm going to be honest with you. I don't know the story about this, Matt. So what is your rationale for the hatred of Alien 3? Because I don't necessarily like that movie, but I don't absolutely hate that movie either.
In all seriousness, it's because Aliens is literally one of my favorite films of all time. Like that, I mentioned Hard Target, but Aliens is like there. And so when I saw Alien 3, being such a huge fan of that, I thought right off the bat in the first 5-10 minutes, I thought it was such a lazy deconstruction of just to be if a movie can literally give you a middle finger, that movie did it as a fan of that film. Do you like Michael Bean's Hicks? He did. If you like that little girl Hicks, she did. Remember that whole finale that she went back and went through a nest and rescued Newt and went all the way back? That was pointless because she died 5 minutes later after doing all that. So you just made the entire finale of that movie pointless. And while I can say the movie has like good music and some capable acting and some nice set design, its premise, its setup, as well as like I was supposed to care about a bunch of bald, look-alike prisoners with barcodes around, running around like lemmings. I was supposed to care that any one of them dies, while sometimes a wide-shot alien, I don't know what effect that is, but it's terrible. And then you just destroy Bishop. Like he got tore apart, but he's okay. Nah. Like that is the most like cynical, emo, depressing. It's like a lot of people today, if they just kill them all, they die. It's like Clerks 3. Well, now, just kill everybody.
Mm-hmm.
And then the ending is like, Sigourney Weaver only did that because I don't want to do any more of these movies until she got paid $11 million. And then she did a fourth film a couple years later. And I'm like, that is just one of the most depressing, cynical, to a film that I thought was a fun, great crowd pleaser of a movie. I'm like, just don't make the fucking movie. Let me have my own, which I do now, of course. Just let them be happy and they go off and they survived and that's it. And then it's like, I can't do it on camera, but just give you a bunch of middle fingers up my ass and just spread it. Not a great feeling for me. I'm not into that shenanigans.
Okay. That's a pretty good explanation, except the description of the fingers up the ass was very descriptive.
Well, I mean, that's what a baby feels. So I'm just
yes.
still a YouTube friend.
Rooster gives us a super chat, and he wants to I think he's asking about any Dick Demon news related to my Dick Demon issues. There has been no progress with the Dick Demon, and the Dick Demon is now almost like laying down at a 90-degree angle. I could get it Hold
That's
on one
actually a
second.
good name from Dick D. Main.
Dick DeMaine. That's a good name for a character. And yeah,
That's
a
your new
character
He's
porn
in
like
like
name.
Dick
a
Damone.
David Lynch movie or something. Yeah. Okay, let's see. But thank you for asking about the Dick Demon. I don't think I'll ever get a new Dick Demon because I don't think David Gregory will spring for that now that he knows who I am. Somebody just puts
That's pretty childish of him. I mean, you're being honest. I mean, it's not like you went to his house and did something personal with him. It's like you're a customer. You pay for it. They had a terrible product. They should replace it.
I
That's
agree.
professional.
Mm-hmm.
But
I agree,
Dick
but
Gregory is a dick.
that guy, yeah, I don't think that guy gives a shit, honestly. Well, he clearly doesn't give a shit considering the stuff Severin's putting out right now, putting out the fucking Black Emmanuel box set. It's like, who gives a fuck about that at all?
I don't even know what the hell
Severin,
that is. Black.
no, you
It was a
should.
Black Emmanuel.
Yes, you know the Emmanuel
Mhm.
series of movies. There was also like
Yeah.
a Black Emmanuel series of movies that they released on the box. Severin's done, y'all.
It's
Like they don't
Laura.
have
What's her
anything
name?
left.
It's Laura something.
You got me,
Is it
Cross.
Laura Gimser or something like that?
Laura Ingram. I have no idea.
Who the hell's going to buy that? I mean, not that you have to like. How many people are dying in breath for Black Emmanuel? Which I bet
People like
most people in
Steve.
chat never even heard of.
I was just
People like
thinking that.
Steve. I swear to God, yeah. You know that he's like,
That's what-
goddamn, I'm ordering that first day.
Yeah.
Is that why he was breathing heavy?
Yeah.
He
Yep.
saw the price.
This is an interesting question. This is kind of something we've never talked about either. Favorite movie snacks and drinks, like when you go to the film, if you go to the movies anymore. I always just get like popcorn and usually just this is boring as shit, but usually just like a Pepsi and popcorn. Like I don't get like any like candy or anything like that. And I don't want to pay $10 for a pack of fucking candy. That's just me.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I'm simple. Nachos, icy. That's it.
Yeah.
If I did, it would be popcorn, and then I would sneak one of these in my pocket and just.
That's
And then
right.
when the trailers they're so loud, I just open it and just.
Last time when we went and saw Evil Dead Rise, this is no shit. This was hilarious. Savannah, we stopped by and bought like a bunch of those packs of like candy for the kids and stuff for like $1 that cost you like $10 there. She had them all in her bag, and when she was walking, like it made the sound of like just everything sloshing like back and forth. And so she was walking real slow, like through the line to get over there so it wouldn't like rattle. I don't give a shit. I ain't paying $10 for candy. I'm just not doing it.
Do you know? Are they strict with you? I mean, like,
No,
have you
not
seen?
there.
No.
I've been to places where like some of the like Regal cinemas and shit like that where they'll actually search your bags and stuff. But here, like they don't give a shit. Like, this is an interesting question, man. Who made more bad movies? Arnold, Stallone, Van Damme, or Seagal?
Seagal.
Steven Seagal.
100% agree with that.
110%.
Oh yeah.
There's no doubt.
Go
in my
All
mind.
those direct to video movies are just awful.
Sally, I know because I've seen Sally, all of them, and the worst. The worst.
Speaking of Stallone, you guys gonna watch his show on what is it, Paramount Plus? His reality show.
Tulsa King? Oh
no,
he's got a
one with
reality
all
show.
Yeah, the one with all his daughters. You guys haven't seen that?
Oh
No.
Yeah.
No, he's not doing that Hogan Knows
He's-
Best type of shit, is he?
Yes, or Kardashians, if you want to consider it that.
Oh no!
You guys got to watch the trailer. I wish we could play it on here and get some reactions from the people in the chat.
I would, but my computer would probably just shut down if I tried.
I mean, his daughters are hot, but it's like, come on, man. Like, I never wanted to see Stallone do something like that ever.
No, man, that is rough. I did watch a documentary. Have you seen it, Rambo that he just did not too long ago about his making of the Rocky 4 cut?
Yeah.
You can see it on Tubi, I think. It's either on Tubi or Amazon. I can't remember, but one of those. Like, it's just a documentary about him making that cut of the film, and it was okay. Like, I didn't mind that.
Yeah.
Has anybody seen Renfield yet? There's a bunch of people asking about it. I haven't seen it.
Mm-mm.
No.
I haven't seen it yet.
Apparently, nobody else has either because it didn't do very well, like in the box office. But I'll guarantee you this: right as I sit here to this fucking day, I will like that movie more than I did Evil Dead Rise. I'll bet you anything, and I would even like wager that it's probably going to be a fairly good movie, just based by who's in it. Preminator wants to know which Nightmare on Elm Street film is your favorite and why? Oh, God, see, that goes back and forth. It really does. Like, as time goes by and I rewatch them, but I would probably kind of agree with you on that. Like, Dream Warriors is the one that I watched growing up. That's why it's my favorite. There's no simpler explanation. I actually think it's the best shot of all of them, like in terms of like the cinematography and the kills and like everything, the colors and everything in that movie. It's pure 80s, like, and it's maybe the last one where it was funny but still kind of edgy before shit got just like crazy stupid with Freddy and the one-liners and stuff like that. By
the way, Mark, what's your favorite Elm Street film, real quick? I haven't had you talk about Elm Street. If you have a favorite,
probably the first one still. I mean, that's the one I grew up with.
Okay.
That's a franchise where I actually saw it in order. And I remember watching the first one the most for sure. And it's not because like I dislike some of the other ones. I like Dream Warriors. I even like the second one a lot, and I never really got the hate for that one. But yeah, that first one still for me is just. I mean that actually gave me nightmares. I was so young when I saw it. Yeah, it's still great. I love it.
Holds up pretty well too. We just watched that not too long ago.
Yeah, the reason I was laughing because I thought Eddie said he would go like a little throwback to an older video where like fuck Star Wars. I thought you were gonna be fuck Nightmare on Elm Street. Fuck that shit.
I actually like. I actually have respect for Craven, unlike fucking George Lucas. So
we got another super chat. I don't even know what this is. It says $5. Is that Australian or is it like I don't know? But
I think Australian, yeah.
Okay.
He's a good guy. I hope
we got an Australian super chat. What do you guys think of the Suspiria remake? You guys
haven't seen it. I've seen the original. I haven't seen the remake. I've heard good things, but I don't know.
It's too long, but and I don't want people to think like I don't like long movies because I do, but with that, like it didn't need to be that long. I enjoy it.
How long was it?
It's like 3 hours.
Jesus.
Yeah.
How long is the original?
It's not 3 hours. I know that.
No.
I'm not sure exactly.
I don't even think the original
probably an hour and 40 minutes at the most.
Yeah, I'd say you're right.
How the hell is it double? Oh, sorry, go ahead. But how the hell is it double the length as a remake?
We're gonna find
out. They make
Y'all
a sequel as well.
It's got so many moving parts in it. I know some people call it way too convoluted, but I'm like, the first movie isn't, exactly. But I mean, if you look at all of Argento's stuff, for the most part, none of them have like storylines that have very cohesiveness to them. Like they all are kind of just like an experience or like a pop art nightmare almost. Like it's the visuals, the kills, and I will say for the early stuff at least, they do have reasonably decent stories when it comes to like the detective aspect of the early Giallo stuff, like Deep Red for sure. But yeah, getting back to the Superior remake, it's solid. I think. I know that I think Tilda Swinton, she plays like 2 or 3 characters in it.
Yep.
Yeah, even one that I think one of her characters is a man. And yeah, I couldn't really even talk about it in terms of the story because it is somewhat convoluted, but it's still good. Like I would recommend people check it out.
So, just a side note, Suspiria has a bunch of different cuts on here, but generally it's about an hour and 40 minutes long if you averaged out all the different cuts. So it's around an hour and 40 minutes. So the remake is, let's see, the remake is,
It's probably like 2:45, I think, close to 3 hours, if not 3.
that's insane, 2 hours and 32 minutes long. Yep.
Okay, that's what I thought. I remember it being so long. I'm like, what the hell?
So
I've
I
only
kinda,
seen it once though.
Yeah. Go ahead.
I kind of had the same opinion too. Like there was a lot of scenes in that movie that like dragged on, especially a lot of the dance sequences and stuff that didn't really have any like business being as long as they were.
Mm-hmm.
But when
Okay.
it gets going and some of the stuff happens, like there's some truly bizarre and like horrifying stuff that happens in that movie. And some of the stuff I can't even believe they got away with, like the stuff with the cop. I don't know if you remember that scene, Mark, but I'm just like,
Mhm.
what the fuck are we watching here? And of course, like the scene everybody remembers is the scene with the where she's doing the ballet and the other ballerinas getting all like twisted and
Yep.
which is yeah, right up there with any kind of horrifying scene that you've ever encountered in a film like that. So I don't mind it. I thought it was an okay film. It's not as good as the original film, of course.
No, not at all.
Let's see. Favorite final girl in a horror film?
Ooh. I'm gonna go with Lisa Wilcox in Elm Street 4 because that was the one I related to the most. Because I was that type of person who was shy in school and was a daydreamer, and I could see a lot of myself in that character. Plus, that's also my favorite Elm Street film. That was the one, like you were introduced to Dream Wars, I was introduced to Dream Master, and that's her getting right in front of the mirror and the whole arc of her being able to finally see herself for who she is, and loving that music. That's one of my favorite pieces of music, the whole montage.
Mm-hmm.
I would go with Lisa Wilcox, although they screwed up with Elm Street 5, but Elm Street 4, Lisa Wilcox, I'll say that for me.
It's a good one. What you got, Mark?
I was going to ask you the same thing. I'm still
okay.
thinking
I'll
about
go.
it.
I'll go. You think, and I'll go because I know mine. Mine was easy. It just popped right into my head. It has been for a long time the same person, and it's Amy Steele from Friday the 13th Part 2. I just think that is one of the very few instances where that particular actress took that role like a certain way, like played it a certain way where she wasn't overly like, I don't know, like a character or anything. Like she actually seemed like a real person and like with real kind of motivations. And towards the end, it got a little bit. Nobody's really going to do that shit. They're not going to put on a fucking. But it fit her character because her character was like she was a psychology major and she was like, all right, this kid is like kind of special. If I slip this shit on, like it's going to trigger him into thinking that that I'm his mother. So it fit the whole thing. And I just like her because she didn't look like your typical final girl either. She wasn't like a blonde. Well, she was blonde in that movie, but she wasn't, the typical blonde kind of running around fallen type of character.
You guys interviewed her, right?
Yes, we did. Yeah.
Okay.
A long time
She
ago.
became a psychologist, right? In real life, I think.
Did she? I mean, it's possible.
I didn't even know
I'm
that.
not sure.
I think she did. I remember reading something about that. Like she actually became like her. I thought she did because I thought, oh, it's ironic. Like she played that and then she became in real life. I could be wrong. If anyone in the chat wants to double check that, but
All right, Mark, you got to go. You ain't getting out of it.
God, I don't know. I don't really have a favorite, honestly. If I just had to answer and say anybody, I guess maybe Jamie Lee.
Yeah. Wait, which version of Jamie Lee? The new version of Jamie Lee or like the old version of Jamie Lee?
That's a good question. Definitely the old version.
Okay. Like the new like Linda Hamilton version or the old like
No.
actual real person version? Oh God. Let's see.
so she became actually a marriage and also counseling therapist.
Oh,
So yeah, she did go into
Okay.
psychology.
Oh,
I
that's
had
very
no
interesting.
idea. That's so
Didn't know
weird.
that either.
That's her character's like, yeah. And she actually did that. This is another super chat. We're getting killed with super chats tonight. I appreciate all this, guys.
Good guys.
Should they do a remake of Freddy versus Jason this time with Kane Hodder and an actual good director? Listen, Ronnie Yu was not a bad director. He's just not the director for that movie. Like he's really not. He's not the guy to do that.
Robert Englund's too old for number one. How old is he?
He's in his
I mean,
70s. I looked that up not too long ago because they were talking about doing that. I think he's like 70, either mid 70s, I think, somewhere in there.
And also a remake wouldn't work because people were excited because it was something they'd never seen before. Here,
Yeah.
whether it's good or bad, the novelty gimmick awe has been worn off. It's like it won't feel as special because you've already seen something like it before, whether you like it or not. So, I mean, unless they tried to do a sequel, and hell, they always replaced Jason in sequels. But even then, a lot of people aren't streaming for it. Robert's fairly old, and I mean, he's a good actor, but it's like, how much more can you do? Freddy Krueger and get all that makeup. It's like sometimes you just have to let it go, like a lot of people in franchises. So,
yeah, me and Matt just had that discussion about the versus thing on the Alien stream. I'm probably in the minority, but I don't think that any of those versus movies will ever work. They're a good idea for people to talk about. It's good conversation. Who do you think would win? Fun speculation. Cool for comic books, video games, but a live action film, I don't see it ever working regardless of what writer you get, what director you get. Even if you had Robert Englund or Kane Hodder, I think then you'd just be like, oh, they're in the movie fighting together finally. That's all you'd have. I don't think any of those movies would work. Alien versus Predator, Freddy versus Jason, Pinhead versus, I don't know, fucking Leatherface. It's never gonna work.
Leprechaun versus Chuggy.
Yeah, just
we did get Chuck Norris versus Michael Myers in Sound Rage, so that did work.
Oh yeah, that's true.
Robert Englund is 75 years old, ladies and gentlemen. Yeah, I don't think he can. That's what I was saying. Like people were talking about him doing like a new Nightmare on Elm Street. It's like, how? Unless you just got somebody like a stuntman running around doing absolutely everything except for like the up close, shots.
Harrison Ford's doing Indiana Jones, and he's 80.
Yeah, and you
81.
saw what they did with that shit. They digitally like de-aged his ass. Like, oh
yeah.
I can't.
Maybe they do that.
No,
not that I want it.
Please don't. Okay, favorite horror movie villain. Let's just pick out of the top ones, I guess. Like
I would go with Freddy Krueger. I'm a big fan of that franchise, at least a good chunk of them, and he knew how to play in the original couple, the scares. He had humor that can work well. So I would go with Freddy. And not the remake. Fuck the remake.
You know, for some reason, like the one, I mean, when it comes to the movies, the ones that I can watch the most are Friday the 13th. I don't know why, but I just can. But I don't necessarily think Jason is my favorite. I think the one that I actually always liked the most in terms of just the look, and it was Pinhead. So I would probably pick
That
him from
was
the Hellraiser.
that was going to be my pick.
Yeah.
I'm a huge fan of the Hellbound Heart novella. I have it over here. That's one of my favorites, so I would probably say him.
Yeah, I mean, it just doesn't get much better than that look.
Okay. Was it the look or the way Deb Bradley played him? Because I know other people have played Pinhead later on.
Both really,
Yep.
because yeah, like when
Okay.
you watch people play him now, you're just like,
Doesn't
the
work.
last two people that tried to play him were awful.
Oh
You had
my-
Fat Pinhead, and then you had like whatever the hell that was. This last Pinhead,
What did Wes call him?
Oh,
Shithead.
Pinhead, yeah. That movie was boring as hell too. I don't care what anybody says.
Yeah,
Go back and watch that movie. It's just fucking trite and silly and boring. Business of Fear says, "What's your favorite trauma movie?"
Well, we're clearly, what was Mark's favorite horror villain?
Oh, he picked Pinhead.
Or did I miss it?
Yeah.
Oh, it was Pinhead as well. Okay.
Yeah.
Trauma
There are no
movie.
good trauma movies. Fuck them all. I don't see Mark Star Wars. Fuck trauma, man. Fuck you.
I mean, that
Terra
is
Firma.
that would have
the
been
one I
my
always
pick.
go with.
Yeah, that would have been my pick too. I'm be honest with you, like I like a lot of trauma movies. And I know I'm probably in the minority with that, but I like all of the Toxic Avenger movies. I like all the Class of Nukem High movies. I like the Sergeant Kabuki Man movies. I like a lot of the others, like crappy, like redneck zombie stuff that they did and
Okay.
stuff like that too. Tromeo and Juliet, Terra Firma. I even kind of like Poltergeist. It got a little bit like crazy around that point and silly, but I still
Yeah.
kind of like that.
The music, I think
Yeah.
the songs are, a few of them are okay, but the majority of them don't work, I think.
But I'll be honest with you, other than the Toxic Avenger, I think that they were the best right around that time period in the 90s when they were doing like Tromeo and Juliet and Terra Firma and all that stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Like that was probably like the best overall era of trauma. It looks like I had funding or something, like a little bit more money, and things were still like okay with DVD and I guess VHS to some point prior to that.
Mm-hmm.
So it was still.
If we're not talking about like actual trauma, I guess you could say maybe Tourist Trap.
Oh yeah, yeah.
I like that. So.
Oh yeah, it's a good one.
Do y'all like the Critters films? I don't mind them, especially part 2.
Yeah,
Yeah, I like
I would. Yeah, that last one though is.
Do you mean there was 2 last ones? The New Binge, or a New Binge? That one, or the?
No, the one with I think Brad Dourif's in it.
Oh, Critters 4.
4, yeah, that's it. Yeah, that one.
The new one they did was called a New Binge, where a critter went down on a lady, and then at the end of this web show there was a part crite, part person. Like, you find out that the character you're following was part critter because of that. Well, the quote hits, "You look like just how I feel." That's what happened.
I can't stand when they do shit like that in these series. It's like the new Puppet Master movies. They're just absolutely stupid, and they just start messing.
That's what it was. It's like we don't take this seriously because you're just making a joke. Why you take it seriously? You're stupid for taking it seriously, you idiot. Well, you take it so serious, just predators.
You know
What are
what's
you doing?
weird though? Like, fucking Mick Garris has never directed really anything worth a damn. Like, I swear to God, that guy has like the most like awful movies, except for The Stand and Critters 2, in my opinion. Like
I
Critters
like
2,
Sleepwalkers.
we're not. I don't. We're not going to talk about Sleepwalkers.
Come on.
We're not going to talk about
Not that bad.
incestuous cat movies right now, Mark. How
But you
is
like
that-
cat people, I bet.
motherfucker? Let me ask you a question. How many cops do you know drive around with a cat in their car? Have you ever seen that in your life? And if you did, you would be like, "What the fuck is
I
going
mean, they
on?"
drive around with a dog, so
That's right, because the dog sniffs out the drugs. Cats don't do anything.
They did kill someone with a corner of the cop.
They did that. Yeah.
that's right.
I don't honestly mind Sleepwalkers. Like, it's one that I saw in the theaters too when I was growing up. I'm just amazed that movie got made the way that it is. It's so like
Mhm.
wrong on so many different levels.
Yeah.
But yeah,
Sleepwalkers.
fucking
God.
cop driving around with a cat. I'm like, it just so happens that comes into play, like to save his life, that he's got that cat. Yeah. This is a good question though. Favorite gunplay in any film?
Oh,
So I'm
that's
assuming it's like
really easy
favorite
for me.
gunplay action
Gun
sequence.
battle.
Yeah.
I'll go.
Go ahead.
Off the
Yeah.
top of my head, I would say Desperado.
Oh yeah, that is a good one. Yeah. And I haven't seen that in a long time, but I do remember that being excellent. Yeah.
Mhm.
Hard Tardy and Hard Boiled, both John Woo films.
Yep.
Solid choices. Those would be my secondary choices. For
There's
sure.
a scene in Hard Target that's great where he kicks the gas can up, then shoots it with the shotgun and blows the guy like out of the
Mhm.
building, which I always thought was
While
like
the guy's
really
on the
cool.
motorcycle, yeah.
Yeah. I don't know if this necessarily counts, but one of my favorite scenes of all time is just the it's not necessarily a gunplay scene, but it is the showdown scene in the Good, the Bad, and the Ugly, where the camera
Of
is
course.
positioned with like each one of them
Mhm.
in the like almost like a triangle, and then they're looking back and forth to one another, and that whole sequence is fucking amazing.
Yeah.
So that would probably be what I would pick. I'm so far behind now that I'm never ever gonna get caught up. I'll just go back. I'm gonna go down to the bottom and then work from there. My internet's not helping me out either. Okay. Yeah. By the way, I just bought the Hard Target 4K from Kino during that sale.
Mhm.
Yeah.
I didn't think it was that great. I didn't think it like the transfer was that great.
Oh.
But now I recently saw that who released it? Universal. Like they're doing a new
Yeah, you
4K edition of it. So I'm gonna probably try to
Wow.
get that too.
really?
Yeah.
Huh. Wonder what happened. Why transfer? I don't know
It
if they just.
it just looked like a Blu-ray. Like it didn't
Mm,
at all look like a 4K. And there were some scenes where it didn't look like a very good Blu-ray, really. Like I was expecting, because that seems to me that it would be a movie that would benefit from 4K. It was really well shot.
Yeah.
Like some of the scenes in it are really amazing, and the color and all that. Like, but it just didn't pop at all. Like I've seen a lot of Vinegar Syndrome movies that were a lot better, like 4Ks than
this
that.
has happened to a lot of 4Ks. Do you think they're just being lazy about it, or just
I don't
something
know.
else?
I don't know. I don't have a lot of Kino 4Ks, if I'm being honest, so I don't have a lot to compare.
Probably what they're sourcing it from.
Probably. What are your thoughts on I Spit on Your Grave, Deja Vu? I hardly doubt anybody in here has seen that, and I'm not watching a 3-hour long I Spit on Your Grave movie.
Yeah, after the way Wes described it, I'm like, I'm good. I'm good.
Favorite death scene from Friday the 13th, Part 8? That is a really specific question. That was Jason Takes Manhattan, by the way.
Mm-hmm.
Probably the head getting knocked off, the punch.
It's got to be.
Yeah, probably that. That's the most memorable.
And then the guitar kill was pretty good too. The way they shot that with the
Mm-hmm.
the
Yeah.
glass up to where it hits and then the blood splatter. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So was there more stuff shot and that stuff's never been found, or did they just know it would get edited and they just shot it that way to just a little bit of a bloodless film? Or do you think that's stuff that's never been found?
There's
that there's
photos
a bloody murder?
of the chick who's like seducing the teacher or whatever, like with a bunch of like shards of glass stuck in her, but that's not what they show in the actual movie. So I would assume that there is like some extra footage out there somewhere.
We should have brought that up on the Lost media show too.
Oh yeah.
But
Very good show.
there part 7 and part 8 have a lot of shit cut out of them. A lot of those sequences were kind of neutered. Favorite porn actress. Who knows at this point?
Rachel Starr, huh?
April O'Neil.
So OCP says you want to see a solid JCVD 4K transfer. Bloodsport, the one in Germany. I've been trying to buy that one and cannot find it because it sells out like immediately wherever it's at.
Haven't cracked the seal on it. Much like
you got it, Marq. Son of a bitch.
Of course he does.
The Hard Target Kino one, I haven't cracked the seal on that either, but that's really disappointing to hear. I mean, if it is that bad, I might just sell it and then get the Universal one.
I mean, listen, I don't take my word for it, just watch it. But I mean, I was not impressed. And I love that movie just like Rambo. Like it's one of my favorite. It probably is my favorite JCVD movie. It's like that one and Bloodsport are real close.
It's either Hard Target or Universal Soldier for me.
Yeah. Thoughts about the movie Brain Damage? Never seen it before and just got the Arrow Blu-ray in. I'm a huge Frank Henenlotter Mark, so pretty much anything that guy does, I think Brain Damage is great. I don't know where it ranks amongst like Basket Case and Frankenhooker, but it's a really interesting and fun movie. I'll say that.
Yeah, agreed.
The whole Elmer character and who's the voice?
Zachary.
Yeah. Great take on drug addiction. Very unique take. So many movies that do the typical. That's very untypical. That made it creative. And a mind-blowing ending, literally.
Yeah. What are our Bobo Cop wants to know what our thoughts are on the Faces of Death and shockumentary kind of style movies.
Now, does Faces of Death count since we know most of that was fake, or is that assumed because they said it was? Because I know there's other like Traces of Death that are more real.
Well, there was that whole thing where they were trying to convince you that shit was real that really wasn't real. There's a lot of movies like that, like Snuff and the Faces of Death series, shockumentary kind of series like that. I never really got that. I never got the appeal to that. Like to me, you watch Traces of Death, the actual Traces of Death you just watch as like a dare when you were in like middle school, and that's the last time you should probably ever watch those. If you're sitting around watching those like all the time, then I suggest you call like 988 or one of the mental health hotlines because like something has gone askew. Like
I was listening to one of the older Dead Pit shows, and Adam Beck was talking about Traces of Death. You probably don't remember this, UB.
No.
So he said his friend was like really into those, and he said he used to jerk off to Traces of Death.
Jesus.
He said he doesn't talk to him anymore, but
no, I probably
I cried laughing listening to that. I'm like, what the fuck?
I probably would not talk to that guy. No. I feel like.
And aren't you two doing a review? Killing of America? Is that another shockumentary? The Killing of
Yes.
America?
Yeah.
I saw the trailer of that, and good luck with that, because even the trailer was unsettling, because it's just all real stuff in the
Mhm.
trailer. So good luck with that. Man.
I dread shit like that, but whatever.
I actually just watched that recently. That was really random. It was recommended to me by Ryan. Shout out to him. I don't know if he's in here or not, but yeah, it wasn't as bad as I thought it would be. I think the trailer leads you into believing that it's going to be this really extreme.
Oh, well, good.
But it's not that bad. But interesting though.
We got another super chat. One from Dirk. He says, which would you rather review? Nightmares in a Damaged Brain or Death Dream? 100% Death Dream. Nightmares in a Damaged Brain is awful. But Death Dream is like one of the most underrated one of the most underrated horror films really ever. It's a Bob Clark classic. Kind of Vietnam War protesty kind of movie. So I will definitely say Death Dream on that one. Will Rocktober Blood or Cheerleader Camp ever get a damn Blu-ray release? Shit, if I know. I'm not
Weirder stuff has.
Yeah.
No, I thought Trick or Treat would get it, and that's in 4K, so you never know.
Can't ask Slippy because he won't tell you the truth anyway.
Yeah, I saw the text on Instagram that I think it was Wes or someone, and then Slippy said someone, so they sent him the picture for was it Toy Story or something.
Oh yeah.
Does Black Roses have one?
What's that?
It's like a Trick or Treat.
No, I mean, what do you mean? Like, does it have a what?
A release.
It has a DVD release because I have it, but I don't know about a Blu-ray.
Okay.
That's a good question. Does it have a Blu-ray release? Somebody out here is bound to know that. We've still got around 100 people in here, by the way. So somebody of these 100 people, if you know if that has a Blu-ray release, because I would actually like to have that on Blu-ray, or that, or what's the other one, Mark? Same kind of thing, heavy metal.
Is it No, not Rocktober Blood. Rock and Roll Nightmare.
Yeah, Rock and Roll Nightmare with the Thor guy.
Oh,
let's see.
It says in Austria, someone from Freak Show, a Blu-ray. I don't know if it's out of print though, or I don't even know if it's a bootleg or not. It could be.
Probably, yeah.
Never know.
Favorite Child's Play movie?
First one.
Fuck me.
Having watched the Scream Factory 4Ks again, I don't like the sequels as much as I used to.
Yeah,
I still do like them, but not as much as before. I do like 3 a lot. I know that's not a favorite of most people, but I really like 3, especially like the whole carnival thing at the end, which was a missed opportunity. That entire third act should have been at the carnival setting. I could see Chucky sabotaging rides and popping up in the popcorn or some shit. Like,
that's Ghoulies.
It would have been awesome.
That's Ghoulies too.
Yeah, exactly.
Somebody made us watch Child's Play 2 not too long ago, and I was like, this movie is not as anywhere near as good as I remember it being. I just didn't.
I had the same reaction.
Yeah. So I would actually go at this point with Bride of Chucky, because I kind of think that's like the best combination of humor and like Chucky, that version of Chucky I really enjoy.
I just happen to have it right here.
Uh-oh. There you go.
Still sealed.
Damn.
Yeah, this is not a VHS. It's one that's supposed to be like the VHS.
Oh, okay. I thought it was
It's a
actually. I was going to
foreign
tell
release.
you that you can just go ahead and mail that to me, Mark. I'll give you my address right after this. It's fine.
Don't mail it to me. I'll flush it down the toilet.
What's your favorite Rambo? You never said.
I like the first three. It's hard
Don't
for me
say
to pick.
Seed.
Probably the
I don't
it's
think
the
he's
first
going
or
to.
second one.
Okay.
The only ones I like are the first three and the. I actually like the reboot. I know I'm alone in that, but yeah, Bride of Chucky. I try to watch again, and Jennifer Tilly just gets on my nerves, and just
I could see that.
I can't handle her.
Yeah, don't watch the show. You'll hate that.
Sadly, I have seen a few, and I did hate it.
It's horrible.
I'm not watching that show, man. People keep talking about it, but it's just not anything I'm interested in.
It's not good at all.
This is an interesting question because we just talked about this guy not too long ago on the show. Jerry says, any information on Nick Palumbo? Is this dude dead or something? Murder Set Pieces is really underrated. I don't know we were just talking about this. I don't know anything about what happened to him. He just kind of fell off the face of the earth after that movie. I don't know what the deal is. I feel like that should be a documentary unto itself, like about what happened to that guy.
Yeah, he is firmly off the grid for sure.
Yeah. I don't know if he got threatened or if I don't know. There's something to it, but we'll never know. Your favorite and least favorite anthology films. That's easy. That's so fucking easy for me. My least favorite is Creepshow 3.
I was gonna
which
say
I'm amazed is coming out in any format, and you should burn yours if you get it. Actually, don't burn it. Just wait till it goes out of print and then sell it to some idiot and make like $200 because that's what happens with Scream Factory stuff. But I'd say my favorite is probably either the original Tales from the Crypt anthology film, the British Amicus one, or Creepshow. I mean, fuck.
Creepshow's a really good one. Yeah, go ahead, Mark. I'm still thinking.
Probably for me, Tales from the Hood. I think that one's a very underrated one. Clarence Williams III is just. You need a reason to watch any movie with him in it. Rambo, I think you know what I'm talking about. That whole performance is just so entertaining.
Yeah.
The sequels are
got the good sheet.
The sequels are just unbelievably bad, and don't watch those.
Yeah.
And worst would be Creepshow 3 for me as well.
It's got to be.
I'll go a different route. My favorite, I'll put Cat's Eye because I think that's a very underrated one.
Yeah, that's good.
Worst, I won't go different because I did see one worse than Creepshow 3. And it was Treasure Chest of Horrors.
God, that's a deep dive.
With Cool Duder as did one of the stories.
Oh, shit.
Oh, God.
You can guarantee I'll never watch that, then.
That I watched Creepshow 3 any day over Treasure Chest of Horrors ever again.
I cannot fucking believe that he did a anthology movie. I just want to smack the shit out of that guy. Anyway, I'm not saying I will, attorneys. I'm just saying, in my mind, sometimes I think about it, and not in a violent way, just in kind of a tap way.
Yeah, so no shout outs for Cool Duder anytime soon.
No.
You could send him one of these, though.
Hey, fuck you, man!
You know what I could send him, though. You know what I could send him, Mark?
That's a cunt. That's a cunt right there.
I always like to bring that up just out of nowhere.
Never gets old.
Nope. Let's see. There's so many questions. I forgot about Combat Shock First Power. That is definitely up there in my favorite kind of trauma releases as well. That's like a David Lynch movie, but just a little bit different, like a Eraserhead, but with a
Mhm.
little bit of a twist. Let's see here. Thoughts on Deep Rising. What is Deep Rising, y'all? I can't
Treat
place that.
Williams.
It's a Tree Williams creature feature
Mhm.
joint in
Mhm.
1998. It's he leads his group onto this cruise ship, and there's these sea creatures on there. Famke Johnson is in it from Lord of Illusions and
Oh, yeah.
others.
Jason Fleming.
Yeah, there's CGI, but it's a fun, entertaining popcorn movie. I always quite enjoyed it.
Same here.
Rob Bottin did some of the designs of the creatures, I believe.
Mhm.
Yeah, always enjoyed Deep Rising, but I like Tree Williams, and
Me too.
I liked him as an actor. So I thought he did a good job in that role.
I have to watch it. I don't think I've ever seen it.
Hmm.
Does anyone like Psycho 4? Bradley wants to know.
It's
It's
okay.
fine.
I mean,
Yeah.
It's not a horrible movie. No. Especially the Olivia Huthepauth. Huthie.
that's true.
She's the Huthie, if you will. It's really. Let's see. Good Lord. It's weird that he brings this up. It's almost like, you know how like sometimes when you think about something and then it pops up on your fucking phone and it's like the government's like somehow or another like spying on your thoughts. Bradley says, has anyone seen After Midnight? I just watched this movie today and I'd never seen it before.
That
That's
the
just-
anthology?
That's just an odd call out. That
Yeah, I think that's an anthology. Yeah.
yeah,
That's I think Scream Factory put that out, right?
they just recently or maybe not too long ago did, right? Like that's not
Okay.
a
Oh, okay.
Yeah, not that long ago. Yeah, I have it over here. It's pretty good. I mean, I think the middle story is probably the best one.
now the one that I'm thinking about, and I'm looking it up just to make sure that I'm right. The one that I watched today is the one with the college professor where like he's trying to teach his college class about fear
Oh, Fear. Yep, that's it.
and all this. Yeah, that's right. Okay, so we got the right one.
Mhm.
And there's
Yeah.
this, isn't there a story with Jimmy Olsen? He's like in a house, and
Yes.
is it
Yeah.
like okay, that's
So he
okay.
he gets kicked out essentially. Well, he doesn't get kicked out, but he can't. He was going to teach like this class a certain way in the college, but he can't do it. So because the guy rats him out and the dean tells him he can't do it, so he has to go to his house, and he invites all the students up there to like have like a private lessons in fear, basically, and that's
Mhm.
where it all like takes place. But yeah, the first time I watched that movie was today, which is bizarre that he said he brought that up.
Yeah, the middle story with the dogs is really, really cool.
Yes, yeah.
And like the deranged homeless guy.
This is another one that's weird because it's another one that recently just watched. Have any of y'all seen the Lucifer Valentine movies?
I own all three of them.
No, you
unfortunately.
fucking don't.
I do.
Listen, you need to get rid of those. You're on some sort of watch list as we speak. like you are undoubtedly on like an FBI or CIA watch list, Mark.
Yeah, I
What
couldn't
is that?
believe Unearthed Films put those out. So I
Holy
guess you'd
shit.
call them like a subgenre unto itself under horror. Like I think he calls it's vomit gore. So there's a lot of puking and blood and yeah, it's just all sorts of real life debauchery you probably don't want to see.
Yeah.
I don't even know what to say about those movies. I've only ever watched the first 15 minutes of the first one, which is like Murder Vomit Dolls or something like that.
Slaughtered Vomit Dolls.
Slaughtered Vomit Dolls. I'm sorry, I got that wrong. I'm sure that's going to be in the fucking
Probably a
Library of
band.
Congress. It's just the crazy. It's just people throwing up on each other, like just bodily fluid stuff on each other. Probably get banned on YouTube for talking about what those movies are about. So
That one
use
guy's
your-
pissing blood.
yes, use your imagination.
Yeah. They're really gross. Gross out movies for sure.
The box set goes for good money.
I'm going to send you the trilogy, Rambo, so you can check those out.
Let's see. So it's August Underground too. No, it's much worse than August Underground, to be honest.
Yeah, much worse. Because, I mean, they're really like... I'm not even going to talk about it anymore. We can move on.
Just keep in mind that if you thought August Underground, or even if you thought like some of those other films that are like supposed to be hardcore, you really haven't seen anything hardcore until you watch those movies. Which is more insulting? Halloween 2007 or Texas Chainsaw Massacre 3 Dicks? 3D, I guess.
Yeah.
Which is more insulting? Oh man. Definitely to
Probably.
me. Oh, go ahead, Mark.
I'd say Texas Chainsaw, because how is Leatherface a guy you like, or how is he the good guy? How do you take the antagonist of a film and make him the protagonist? And he's wearing somebody's face, like on his face.
How do you make him the good guy? Yeah, I don't understand that whole movie really, because the timelines are so fucking off.
Yeah, that's who.
And I really don't understand the part where she's like, "Do your thing, cuz," and then all of a sudden she's like part of the family and all that. But there will never be anything that I'm more hated in my life than seeing Halloween 2007 in the theaters. So, I mean, it was like having a fucking mini nervous breakdown watching somebody shit on that movie. That's just my opinion. I know a lot of people like that movie, and if you do like that movie, I feel sorry for you, and may God have mercy on your soul.
It's got Scout Taylor Compton in it.
Straight out Compton. I could go either way. I dislike both very, very much. It's hard for me to pick. You guys mentioned it all. One, the little kid wearing the damn Michael Myers mask with a knife, which is fucking ridiculous. And then, like you said, these are best friends. She reads one report and she does a total 180 shift of her brain. Like, yeah, turn Leatherface face. Like he was Stone Cold Steve Austin against Bret Hart. I don't understand it either.
Is
I don't understand
Halloween
the
Ends
beginning,
worse for you than the remake, or if you had to watch one?
You asking him or me or both?
The both of you.
Is it worse than Rob Zombie's Halloween? I'll say yes for me, just because I don't like Rob Zombie's Halloween at all. I at least like okay, I like Brad Dourif. I like a moment here and there,
Okay.
which is like picking corn out of
Shit.
avalanche of diarrhea.
Yeah.
But Corey, fuck Corey. Who the hell is Corey? Hashtag fuck Corey.
I can break it down in two different ways. The experience of seeing the Halloween 2007 was worse because I didn't expect it. I expected Halloween Ends to be shitty, so it didn't bother me as much. But Halloween Ends is by far a worse film. It might be it's definitely the worst like Halloween film that's ever been made, in my opinion. And it might be like one of the worst just genre films, modern genre films ever. Like, it's so fucking stupid and like Just bad writing, bad direction, bad editing, stupid. I don't even want to get into it.
I still don't understand in that movie the cut he prefers, where you see an 8 foot tall guy in his cell, and you're like, you know what? Let me go up and sniff my fingers. Who the hell does that? I'm going to screw this girl in front of an 8 foot tall, 5 foot wide guy, and everything's hunky dory. I love Rob Zombie. Explain that one to me. I want him with a million other things in that movie. Explain to me, please. And all the things he complained about the original Halloween, like Donald Pleasance seemed drunk in that movie. Michael Myers doesn't drive. Blah blah blah. I'm like,
yeah,
what all this? shit
those
in
were
your
the
movie that
criticisms
made-
before Halloween ends. Yeah. If that's the biggest criticisms, then like my thought on that would be, why the fuck is Michael Myers living in the sewer and like somehow or another get like magical powers from when Corey kills people?
Right.
We don't know. Jerry's got an interesting question though. He says, "Have we heard from Metal Man since his last breakdown on the round table?" Not. He posted something on one of the posts we did on Instagram where he just kind of liked it. So he's still lurking in the shadows, but we don't. He completely like took himself out of the Patreon, and I don't know what the fuck happened. Yeah, like Wes says, if it was from making fun of Pantera or I don't know what it was, but he really, really got ass hurt about something, which is bizarre considering his whole gimmick was like busting other people's balls, and then like he acts like that. Whatever. I don't know.
I don't know the story at all, so I've heard. I don't know anything about it.
It's a long, weird tale. Let's see. Grim. One really bad anthology movie I saw was Grim Prairie Tales with Brad Dourif and James Earl Jones. I actually remember that, and it's really horrible.
Yeah, that's the one where one of them is having sex with someone, and then like they like get pulled down the sand. The way it's done, it just does so ridiculously cheap and silly. Just that's a boring ass movie too.
At this point, I'm just trying to catch up on this chat. Hold on. Okay.
Actually, I think in that movie, the guy was having sex and got sucked into the woman's stomach or something. Like something weird like that happened. It's a lame ass movie.
Favorite JCVD film from all three of you. Do we already do that?
Yeah. Well, sort of.
Kind of.
Yeah.
I'll go with like I said, Hard Target or Bloodsport.
I said Hard Target, and Mark said that or Universal Soldier.
Yeah.
Basically, just a lot of people shitting all over the Halloween Ends film. It's like it's a whole like fucking 3 paragraphs of people just shitting on that movie.
I don't mention you mentioned there were movies you had seen as well as movies that you got as well.
Oh yeah. Okay. While we're waiting on this, so I'll go through the movies I bought list recently. So this Australian gym called Nightmares, not the Nightmares you're probably thinking of, not the one with Emilio Estevez. This is an Australian one that Umbrella put out that I got from Vinegar Syndrome. It's like a slasher. The Sorority House Massacre released from Scream Factory. Just came out on Blu-ray. These are the ones I just bought. The Lighthouse edition from A24. I love this movie. I'm sorry, but I'm sorry, Matt. No. The Good Son
Okay.
from Kino, the Kino sale.
Gotta have it.
Revenge of the Ninja from the Kino sale. Shokazugi Madness.
Oh yeah, good stuff.
Nice.
Also, in that I've got the Enter the Ninja to kind of
hmm
balance that out.
I'm guessing you have Ninja 3 already.
Yes.
Okay.
Good Guys Wear
Uh,
Black. Actually came with a slipcase, which I was happy about.
Nice.
Oh,
Hard Target, which I watched this one
Mhm.
also, as well as just recently bought it. Just getting ready to watch this one, the Missing in Action box set.
ooh,
I still need to get that. Yeah.
nice.
It's pretty
Yeah.
awesome. I also watched this one and just recently bought it. Don't Tell Her It's Me, aka Boyfriend School, with Steve Guttenberg, the Goot.
Gotta have the goot.
This is a Diodato film that not a lot of people talk about. Somebody asked that earlier too. I forgot to bring it up. What's your favorite Diodato
Okay.
film that's not Cannibal Holocaust? Well, this is one of them for me. Cut and Run with
Mhm.
Michael Berryman. Got that one. And of course, everybody's probably already got this one that's horror related.
Oh yeah.
But that's the Second Sight Texas Chainsaw
Nice.
release. Now, I've watched like a couple of those, but to get into my actual like recent watch list, I have watched The Devil's Honey, the Fulci movie. That is my highest recommendation for anybody that likes like Italian sleaze,
Euro sleaze. Yeah.
Euro sleaze. Yeah,
Oh yeah.
there's not many better than this, to be honest. That's a Severin.
The
release.
dog doesn't lick the honey, right?
No, but the
Okay,
dog is
good.
an integral part in it.
Good.
I watched the RoboCop trilogy, all three of them, again for the first time in a long time.
Nice.
This is
Wow.
the old like single kind of trilogy
Okay.
set.
Mhm.
The second one's amazing, all the way up until the end when they put his fucking brain in that stupid looking robot. I didn't appreciate that as much, but the rest of the film is amazing.
Yeah, the stop motion is really cool in that
Yeah.
one.
Savage Weekend, which is kind of like a weird backcountry
Oh,
Mhm.
slasher
Yeah.
film. It's not
Yeah.
that great, but it is what it is. One of my favorite all-time action films. Watched it again I got it from Shout Select.
Ooh, nice.
Nighthawks.
nice.
This is an amazing. It still holds up to this day because of Rutger Hauer, really more so than anything else. He's
Mhm.
outstanding in this movie.
Yeah.
Watch this
Wish we-
one.
Wish
I've
we
had
could
for a
get the
while.
uncut version of that. Nighthawks.
Yes.
Would have been nice
Yeah,
to
me
see
too.
that.
Dream a Little Dream.
Dream.
I don't know what you want to say about that, but that movie's awesome.
That's a fun one. I got that release. It's pretty good.
Tried to watch this. It sucks ass. It just does. It's boring. I'm sorry for
Yeah.
anybody that likes Mortuary.
Yeah, it is really slow.
Yeah, Sally.
This movie's amazing. I don't give a fuck. Talk about like a guilty pleasure movie. This is definitely
Yeah.
one of them. Return Swamp Thing, Jim Wynorski. It's still great. There's something about this movie that's just like, I don't know, of its time, but really.
Where's your Craven Swamp Thing?
My Craven Swamp Thing?
Yeah. Do you have that?
No, I don't own like the original Swamp Thing.
Oh wow. Okay.
But they're coming out with the titty version of it, so I'm gonna buy that.
Yeah, that's a must buy.
This movie holds the record for the worst film with the best cover of all time. It is a huge piece of shit that is incredibly boring and has really no zombies in it whatsoever. But the cover is absolutely amazing. This is that cover.
So if there's no
Yeah.
zombies, what happens in it?
Well, I got really, really bored and kind of like zoned out after the first like half of the movie, but
Yeah.
A lot of drama, a lot of talking. I don't know. There's no zombies. I don't know why. I just watched this again just because I got the Raimi autograph. So this is
Nice.
Which
just
edition is that?
That's just I
The
think that was
Steelbook.
the
It's a
Steelbook.
Sony Pictures release.
Yeah.
Okay, I didn't see that cover. Steelbook,
And
cool.
of course, watch this. And was not pleased, but whatever. I mean, it is what it is. The bonus
Is that not when the transfer wasn't that great?
Yeah,
I
the
remember
transfer
hearing
on
you
that.
guys.
Well, the one thing they didn't really tell you, because I'm sure they didn't want to tell anybody, was that there's no way that transfer can be great just because of the way that it was filmed. But there's no sense buying that movie on 4K. There's really not. If you have a choice and you haven't bought it already, do not spend $60 buying that on 4K.
So they didn't tell people beforehand because that's what they wanted their money. Or is that what happened? They didn't tell anybody, hey, by the way, this will never look.
No, I think they did release a statement that was something like, hey, we only have like this movie doesn't have a positive or something like that, or some film terms that I couldn't really understand, but it was like something about the way it was filmed. It doesn't have like a positive, so we really couldn't like do what we wanted to with it and make it look the way that we wanted to, but this is the best that it'll ever look, essentially, which it may be, but it's not. It's still not good. I mean, it still looks essentially like a DVD.
Yeah, agreed. The features save it.
Yeah,
I have mine right here. I was ecstatic like everybody else. I'm like, finally. But you put it in and it was very, very deflating. I was like, wow. But the features, though, if anybody wants this, like just for features, you will not be disappointed.
It's worth it for that, because there's like a full-length documentary about the making of the film where they walk around all the sites where it was made and everything, and Amplis is there, and it's worth it just for that, really. A couple of really good
aside
features.
From the features, would you say that's the most disappointing release of the year, or is there another one that comes to mind?
So far, yeah.
I can't think of another one where I was that hyped and it was just like, fuck. I couldn't think of anything else. Is anyone going to see the A24 film Beau is Afraid?
3-hour A24 Joaquin Phoenix joint.
I might watch it at some point. I know Phantasmat is a big fan. Even he was like, yeah, I don't think most people will like it. So I'll still give it a shot at some point. Why not?
Is there a commentary for the Sorority House Massacre Blu-ray? That's a good question. I just happen to have it on top. So it's got A Nightmare on Sorority Row, Remembering Sorority House Massacre, interview with actor Angela O'Neill, / Course in Terror, Inside Sorority House Massacre, interview with the author, film a story, and Amanda Rice. No, there's no commentary on here. But it does have new special features and a new 2K scan.
That I'm surprised they actually did a new scan.
Me too.
I just watched well, it's not Sorority House Massacre, but Slumber Party Massacre 3 recently.
I don't remember Slumber Party Massacre 3.
I remembered liking it. I hadn't seen it in like well over 5 to 10 years, and yeah, I think it has some potential to just be dumb fun, but it's not. It doesn't hold up at all.
Sound like a prison sentence, 5 to 10 years.
This is a hilarious question. Hopium asks, Do you all differ on Hereditary, or do you all three hate it? Just the way that question is worded.
I think it's very overrated.
I like it, and I know that Rambo hates it.
I'm kind of in the
True.
middle. I don't think I'll ever own it or rewatch it, for that matter.
Cornholio says he needs TP for
Hey.
that.
Yo, what's up?
Says Stuntman, your setup is awesome, and Uncle Bill, UCK, and the gang. They put are some funny motherfuckers. Thank you, sir.
Hey there, man.
Mortuary sucks ass. Yeah, yes it does. OCP says he loves the Return of Swamp Thing too. He grew up with that one. I did too. That's probably the main reason why I really like it. So, yeah, we've still got 100 people in this fucking chat.
Wow.
But
thanks for sticking around, everybody.
Yeah, we're going on 2 hours and 30 minutes at this point. So, what do you guys want to do? Do you want to continue to do this, or do you want to bag it, or as
one
they say,
more
in Dawn of the
hour?
Dead, bag it or try
I'll
for it?
continue I'll continue as long as you want, man.
If
I
you're
have
still
nothing
there,
to do. It's storming outside. I ain't going outside. I just lighted.
get sucked out the door like that woman in that video where she was taking a picture of a tornado and she got sucked out the front door.
That'd be a hell of a dead piss stream. I just walk out and I said ciao with my mellow yellow. I just disappeared to the tornado. It'd be a foul footage.
Oh,
that'd be a hell of a video there. That'll be disappear. That'll be the next lost media 10 years later. Well, there was this one stream we had, but YouTube took it down. And
I have to put it in a vault and like put never watch Rambo to death. Films at Home said the Martin transfer was great. Yeah, Nick, but I mean that's Films at Home, so I don't put not a damn bit of anything behind anything that guy says.
that's the guy that bought that thing that was completely broken, didn't tell anybody that it got sent to him broken.
Yep, because he's getting shit sent to him, so he's got to say that it's fucking killer, I'm sure. And let me just tell you that it ain't. OCP says, what are your thoughts on Bill and Ted Face the Music? Holy shit.
Better left unmade.
Yes.
Thought you said both of you have seen it. Because I never hear you guys, of course, talk about it.
No, I tried
There's a reason why, yeah.
I tried desperately to forget that movie.
Well, I know a lot of people like the film, so I didn't like it either. But what are your reasons for not liking it? Because it's refreshing to hear.
Mostly wasted potential.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I hate movies where everyone is just older and they go back and just try to rehash the same beats from the movies that worked. And that's exactly what they did in that movie. And it's like, it just doesn't, there's no energy or life to it when you do that. Like, it just doesn't, it's not going to come across the same way it did in the fucking 80s, you know?
Right. Yeah. Especially for Keanu Reeves, like he was so past that. I mean, that's not the type of performance he could deliver at this age. It just isn't. He's not that guy anymore.
He shouldn't even have to. Yeah. I mean, the level that he's at right now, like he shouldn't be doing that shit anyway.
And no George Carlin really hurt it.
Yeah. Right. All right, let's see. How about YouTube? I didn't know about this. How about YouTube deleting Severin's page?
Damn.
Well, I didn't know that. Maybe
I wonder if they had trailers that had nudity or something in it. Maybe they didn't realize it or something.
They probably violated some sort of.
Did that actually happen, or is he saying how about them being deleted? I'm not sure how he's asking that question.
How about
Neither.
YouTube delete because they don't like the releases either? He's
How
like,
about
"Fuck
you?"
you."
I think he's saying they deleted their page. Somebody try to find Severin's page on there if anybody has got like on YouTube. I just out of nowhere, if he was like, "How about they just delete Severin's page?" I don't know.
Yeah, that's for a second. That's what I thought the question was.
Preminator, this is a good question. Have I ever visited any filming locations? Yes. We took a trip. Me and Savannah took a trip. That's been almost 10 years ago now to Pittsburgh. And on that trip, we went to the Monroeville Mall. We went to the Evansville Cemetery, Evans City Cemetery, sorry. And the downtown Evans City where they filmed the Crazies. A lot of the parts from the Crazies. So
I'm
those
guessing
are
the mall looked very different.
Oh yeah.
I've
Yeah,
heard that the mall looks nothing the same, pretty much.
there's only a couple of things where you could really even tell that it's that mall. They do have like a plaque about the movie when you first walk in, and some stuff about it, like about Romero and stuff in there too. The escalator is basically kind of the same. That part of the mall, all of the shops are completely different. All of the designs, of course, are completely different because it's like been 50 years almost. But yeah, the big one for me was the cemetery because it looks, of course, exactly the same. You don't really change a cemetery. You know what I mean? Like it just, it's basically and they had the farmhouse, which is still standing amazingly. You cannot go in it because somebody owns that property, but you can drive up to it and like take pictures of it and whatnot.
So real quickly, do you think anyone will ever, since malls are pretty much dead, do you think that will ever get torn down, or do you think someone will try to keep it hanging for historical sake? I don't know how they afford it, but
yeah, I think it'll probably eventually close, like every other mall.
and get torn down.
Yeah, but maybe somebody will try that. They in that town in Evans City, they've got like the I forget what exactly it's called, but it's like a preservation thing for Romero stuff. Some sort of like preservation society museum thing that you can go to as well.
Good. Okay.
Thoughts on Cool Duder saying he's the next John Carpenter? That can't be real.
I'd love to hear that quote.
Yeah,
if anyone has a clip of that quote,
he's trolling. There's no way.
Oh my god! I actually just watched all these films again in the last week. What are your guys' thoughts on the Death Wish films? I love all of them and think that Part 3 might be the best, like one of the best exploitation action films ever made.
I have them right here. I was just watching Part 4. I really love that one.
Crackdown is great too.
Yeah. 2 and 4 are two of my favorites. Actually,
3 would be my favorite. Yeah. Will be Magnum.
They gave me this little Charles Bronson watch with it.
Oh wow.
But the set, hold on, I'll grab it.
So where was that set from that you got to watch?
Oh, overseas. So
Mark's going through like Pakistani distributors at this point trying to get this shit.
I've probably gotten something from, I would say, almost every country. Almost.
Oh.
Yeah.
I mean, it's ridiculous. So it's this. I had to take it out of this big box that it's in. It's this huge. It's what they call the leather book.
Okay.
Oh wow.
It's got all 5 movies in it. It's awesome.
You just Mark, let me know when you want my address. I'm be happy to because that needs to be graded thoroughly before you can resell it. And I
I'm gonna
want
do
to,
a personal grading on.
yeah. Yep.
And you said
So
you had the Bloodsport 4K as well, right, Mark?
of course he does. That old some bitch.
Mhm. Yeah.
Just not open.
No, it's not open, and it's in the other room.
It's in the other room, probably in a stack of like a mass stack of other fucking Blu-rays that he's got in 4Ks.
Hold on, let me try to open this thing real quick. Oh god, here we go. So it's part wood. It's kind of like the Crow set that I have. It's got a ton of stuff in here. It's got some
From
bullets.
wood, huh?
Yeah, this piece is wood. Oh, I'm dropping
Yeah.
shit everywhere. So
Jesus.
it's got these cards. Hold on. So yeah, here's the pack of like bullets. The shells.
That's
I know
killer.
it's so fucking cool. You got like, oh, yeah, well, you get the idea. And these, it's just again just little snapshots, and then a bunch of cards. It's a poster, of course. Everything's got a poster, and then the actual collection Blu-ray. The glare is ridiculous. Sorry about that. But yeah,
That's pretty badass. That
yeah,
Nice.
yeah. But yeah, it's like a wooden thing. I don't know why
How
they
much
call it
was
a
it?
leather book, but God, I could go check. I'll check. This was a while ago. I'll check. Yeah, it's I'm sure I got the receipt like in my email. I'll check.
so an update real quick. So apparently a lot of people are saying that the Black Emmanuel box set trailer got their YouTube page taken down. It really did get it
Wow.
taken down.
Wow.
So yeah, it's gone. That's hilarious to me.
For God's sake, nobody wants their shit. Even YouTube doesn't want their shit. No one wants them.
Yeah,
anymore.
nah. Let's see.
Man.
There are 6 Death Wish movies. So there's 6.
Well, he means the remake.
Yeah.
And the 5.
Oh.
So technically, yeah, there's 6, but it's 5 in the remake.
The set was $150.
Wow.
So it's shipping probably like $170 something. Wasn't that much.
I love all those movies though.
But yeah, for 5 movies and the actual set
Yeah.
itself, I couldn't pass that up. I might still be able to find one. I know a guy who has, so I have a few guys that like I buy stuff like that from. If you want, let me know. I'll message him. I'll try to get you one if you want it.
Do it, Mark. If you know a guy that knows a guy.
I do. Thank God for Google Translator, because most of these guys don't speak a word of English.
Shit. He's going like fucking Russian or something.
Yeah, I mean, yeah,
Underground.
That one's Germany. I think the Crow wooden one was Germany. Scandinavia, Sweden. I go all over the place.
Yeah, if you could, I mean, that's actually like one of my favorite series of films. If you can get that from anybody, then do that. Yeah. So Cornholio asked if Monroeville Mall is still going strong. I mean, I think the majority of people that go to Monroeville Mall are not like shopping there. They're going there to like, because it's a part of the movie. Like I didn't see hardly anybody in the mall itself. Like it wasn't crowded or anything like that. And that area is like, it's not a glamorous area. Let me just put it to you that way. It's very much like around here. It's very rural, rustic, rundown, steel town kind of place. Yeah.
Yeah, it's pretty much either Walmart or online. Like
Yeah.
the shop. Was it a shame? Because were there malls around when you guys were kids, like that you went to?
Oh Lord, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
They were all over the place.
Mm-hmm.
And malls back then were amazing, man. I mean, you could get anything in the world in there. But nowadays, you go in there and it's like they got a fucking Bed Bath and Beyond and a couple clothing stores and it's like fucking candle store.
The 90s mall experience was probably the best for me because I was telling Rambo, like it seemed like every week or weekend, I should say, was a cool movie coming out. Go to the mall, and the mall is like attached to the theater. So I'd also be inside Suncoast looking at the VHS stuff and buy some stuff in there. Then I go see a movie, go home, watch more movies. So it was a great time.
Another super chat. Preminator coming in here. Good dude. You guys think Ripley at the end of Aliens was done for opening the airlock when she took the queen out? Newt was almost history if it wasn't for Bishop. I hadn't actually thought about that.
Well, is there really much else she could do? I mean, don't use harsh language or drop kick here or something.
That's what I was thinking.
I'd love to see a cut of her drop kicking the queen alien. That'd be awesome.
Yeah, desperate times,
Shawn Michaels
desperate
super
measures.
kick.
She super kicked his head off. Yeah. Greg, who is this? Greg Araki needs to make the next Evil Dead movies.
Oh,
know?
Really? No. I mean, I think he's joking.
I don't even know who the
is
fuck Greg Araki is.
I'm pretty sure he's the guy that made Mysterious Skin, Doom Generation, quite a few movies, but no.
No,
it's a whole nother level of weird if we get him to make it.
No, I mean I know you're real, Betamax. I'm just saying I don't know who the Greg Araki guy is.
No, you know who he did to directed? Nobody. She stopped making them fucking movies. How about that? Just don't make it anymore. There you go. That's who he did. Nobody.
As a matter of fact, stop making any of these fucking franchise movies, please. I know you're not going to Hollywood because that's the only thing that makes money, but at some point, Jesus.
Yeah.
A lot of people put over Evil Dead Rises, and when I look online, I'm like, okay. I doubt it.
No, don't believe it.
Don't believe
I
the
guess they say
hype.
because they think it's like the first one, it's like serious and scary like the first one because they don't like the humor in 2 and 3. That's why I hear and read a lot.
It's a movie
I'm not saying
that doesn't
that's what I
have.
heard.
It doesn't really have a tone. Like it tries to be scary, and then it tries to be silly, and then it tries to be like whatever else, and like none of it works.
No. Not even a little bit on any level.
Did Stuntman Marq? Oh shit!
And Uncle Bill's
see
John Wick 4.
I know you saw it, or Rambo, right?
Yeah, that's what he's asking you to, because I know him. He's a good guy. He says he knows my opinion on it.
I haven't seen it.
I've seen it. Yeah,
I will see it, but I haven't seen it.
I will agree with a lot of the issues that Rambo pointed out, but overall, we're at part 4. I It's okay. I didn't hate it. Um, as far as the ending, I'm sure everybody knows. I won't say it for those who haven't seen it or those who don't know. I don't think that's really the case. I don't think that's. Yeah, I can't say it because I don't want to ruin it for somebody.
Right.
But it's fine for me. It's fine. I don't think it's as good as the other movies, but there was some cool camera work here and there, some cool action sequences. That's fine.
Mm-hmm. It's not only need to be 3 hours long, but
Right. That's another thing. Yeah.
So I think we have reached the 2 hour and 35-minute mark. So now would be a good time to just say we still got a ton of people in here, but I'm going to end up falling asleep this son of a bitch soon. I'm too old to be doing this shit. Y'all young people, feel free to continue on if you want, but I probably have to go to bed.
yeah.
So I appreciate, of course, Mark Rambo for coming on here as always. I greatly appreciate everybody that was in the chat asking the questions. This was by far, I think, the liveliest like chat in terms of like just having nonstop questions come in that we've had. And we will continue to do these from time to time. We'll also continue to do No News is Good News from time to time when there's actually like some news that's prevalent. But as always, thanks to everybody for the super chats. Thanks to everybody for the donations. You can sign up, go on any of our Patreons. Like I said, you can go over to Into the Dead Pit if you want to on Instagram. You can go for the website, deadpit.com. Sign up for our Patreon. And of course, I will let you guys talk about like what other projects and things that you got coming up. Matt, you can go first since you're on my right.
Sure. Just continue the requests. Have a pretty much uploading 3 or so a day. Just keeping on track for that. If people send in requests, I will get them as soon as I can. And as soon as my internet is on again on the computer. Also, I know sometime, I don't know when, Stuntman Marq and I want to do another commentary, perhaps on Stephen King's Graveyard Shift. Don't know when that will be. I have to look at the schedule and stuff, and also when Mark's available and things of that nature. But hopefully sometime down the road, because we're both fans of that film.
Yes.
And other than that, a lot of fun. Thanks for having me. It's always a joy. It's always a pleasure.
Mark, what do you got going
on? Probably just more videos on my collection. I mean, that's pretty much all I do on my channel anyway. I'll be joining Rambo, like he already said, at some point for a commentary. I still have to message you about those sequels for the next commentary after the Graveyard Shift. So that, and then probably another Dead Pitch stream coming up pretty soon.
on? Oh, shit. Yeah, that's right. The
May of the Dead.
Yeah, there's
Trick or Treat.
Well, we got that's another thing too. I completely forgot about. Like Wednesday, we've got the big Dame Jr. Michael Slipcase Felcher interview about the Trick or Treat 4K release that's coming up. So that'll be awesome because they're always like great guests, and you always like in those you'll always hear like behind the scenes stuff about what goes on. You'll hear behind the scenes stuff about like what happened with the making of it and the extras and things like that, and the mastering process. There'll be some cool stories to come out of that. And then, like you said, Mark, at some point we're doing the what the fuck is it? Waxwork? Is it the Waxwork show that we're doing?
No, Arrow Video.
Arrow. Fuck, that's right. I'm getting shit all convoluted here. Yeah, so the Arrow, kind of like similar to the Scream Factory editions that we do. So yes.
And X-Files.
We still
So we can
What to
close the
believe.
cabinet on the files.
We have one movie left. I was trying to take a break from that shit because I literally was getting ready to like fucking just never watch the X-Files again. But yes, you're right. We need to do that as well. So
Next
anyway,
Friday?
next Friday we should just
God
end it.
believe.
We should
God
just do
believe.
we should just do the commentary on one of the worst goddamn X-Files things that ever happened. Depending on how you look at it. Yeah, so I am Uncle Bill signing off, and check us out at deadpit.com. Check Rambo out at his channel, Rambo Rap for Life. Check Marq out at his channel. And please join us on Wednesday for the big trick or treat stream. But we will see you guys as soon as I can find the outro video here. Let's see here. Is this it?
I'm the only
This is
one
the
that's
outro
Michael
video.
Myers, you fucking bitch.
Oh god.
That wasn't it. Here it is. See y'all.
Give us the thumbs up,
Up you butts.
like, subscribe, and if you subscribe, here's something else you can do. Once you subscribe, you can click the bell notification, right? And it'll notify you anytime that Dead Pit puts up new shit.
Or don't. I really don't give a if you do or
I
not.
want you to. I want you to.
I don't care.
Let's keep our community growing here on YouTube.
I don't like it. I don't want you to do nothing.
Listen, they need to do that, pal.
No, don't you
Yeah.
dare touch it.
Thumbs up, subscribe, and click that bell.
Hey folks, it's Oak Early Jaws. I might be banned off of YouTube, but that doesn't mean I can get you some great shirts over at shop.deadpit.com. First, we got Steve Benningfield post goes against our community standards in nudity or sexual activity. We got the deadpit.com shirt. We got Cardboard. We got L Lord. We got Tales from the Dark Side. We got Dead Pit. And we got a Princess Puffin shirt, boss. It doesn't get any fucking better. Brandon add the accident. Oh. But these shirts just get better and better, boss. You gotta go over to shop.deadpit.com and pick you up some shirts right fucking now. What are you fucking waiting for? Do it. Do it now, because old Curly Jaw said so.
Thank you to all of our supporters on Patreon. Dead Pit on Patreon.com is the only place to check out a complete archive of the old Dead Pit radio shows all the way back from 2005 on, in addition to the midweek shows and fan commentaries, exclusive podcasts, and much more. Dead Pit on Patreon.com if you're interested. Tiers start at only $1.